Okay, and we are live. Hello, everyone. It is I, King Billy, and I am here with a new guest named Rax, if I pronounced it right.
Hey, what's up, fam? Yes, this is correct. Rex the Hero.
Okay, so since you're new here, again, you talk a bit about yourself, like what you do.
I just recently started a YouTube channel about a week and a half ago. I'm trying to do it's not the normal kind of thing right now. It's starting to move around. Is just kind of discussing comics and I do manga as well and the news between them. I try to focus more on positive stuff. I'm trying to have like a two-thirds positive, one-third negative kind of thing. I don't want to leave out the unfortunate cases that are going on within the medium, especially with comics right now.
So you would say that you're like the opposite of Yellow Flash,
I would say so.
or like diversity in comics, because I noticed that both them and him and Yellow Flash tend to have a lot of issues with different bad comic books. Like that seems to be the main focus on their videos.
Well, diversity in comics has gotten way more about drama stuff than he has about comics, but I agree
That is true.
mostly
Yeah.
with Yellow Flash's comic take. He and I seem to have very similar opinions when it comes to
I
comics. Not so much manga or anime. I disagree with like 90% of the anime related things that he said so far that I've heard.
I feel like I feel like Yellow Flash is, I don't know. I wouldn't say like, I don't want I guess I could say the word genuine, but I don't want that to be like a hit against diversity in comics. But I don't know. I just feel like diversity in comics is a little more clickbaity, whereas Yellow Flash to some extent seems like, yeah, he focuses a little bit more on
With
reviews than
with
drama.
Yeah, with diversity in comics, I feel like he's much more old style, and he's got the set that he thinks that he believes comics should stay in, and whereas Yellow Flash, after seeing where a lot of the entertainment media is now, like with how popular anime and manga and like where video games are going, and he's able to see the older style, but also where things are starting to grow and evolve to. Whereas the diversity in comics kind of, I get where he's coming from. He wants to get it into where it was back in the style when it was so big, but I don't think he really wants to let any of the comics become more adapt to the current larger scale audience that like things like superheroes and anime characters and everything.
So basically, you're saying is you think diversity in comics wants comic books to stay like back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, and I get where he's coming from, but I think that they also need to adapt properly with with where people are at right now. But I would prefer if we had it across like all spectrums. Like we could have more old classic style comics. We could have more video game esque, more anime manga style comics, and they could keep
Yeah.
they could keep the the SJW like weirdo styles that they have today. But if they want to keep that, they shouldn't push out the much larger audience like what they want.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like I one of the things I had disagreed with some of the comics gate people was the idea that we had to take politics completely out of comic books because I feel like that was a very wrong assumption and kind of ignorant to the history of the medium, given how the most popular age of comic books was essentially them being propaganda pieces for World War II. When we
Oh
were
yeah,
at war
yeah.
with the Germans and Japanese. So I just feel like claiming that politics should be out of comic books was a very like ignorant statement. In one of the instances where like the SJWs did have like dirt on Comicsgate and that they were spreading around bad information.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Politics is fine, but when it's one-sided politics, it just gets ridiculous, and
Oh,
it just wants to shut everybody out.
Well, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, I think that the best solution to this issue in comic books is to basically become more politically diverse. Like a lot of people say, less politics would help. I also kind of am of the mind that kind of like with snake venom, in order to cure snake venom, you use anti-venom, and anti-venom is made out of snake venom. So it's kind of like with that, you kind of cure the political problem with more and different types of politics, you know, because I
Yeah,
find
yeah.
that radical people don't like sharing spaces with their political opponents, but when they have to, they tend to quit and go somewhere else and do their classic, I had to quit because this was just too awful, or there's this industry.
What they really don't like doing is actually buying the things they complain about and what they bitch about wanting.
Yeah.
They
Well, that's
complain
true.
about all these the comics need to be more diverse and less white people, but when they do that and all they do is piss off the main fandom,
Well,
then the guys
well,
that were complaining about it don't actually come for the product that they were asking for.
the interesting thing, the thing about the whole political question in comic books is that politics can sell. Like My Hero Macadamia by Donald J. Thump
Oh
sold
yeah.
a lot of money. I think there is a place for politics if it's done right and stuff. And I think by having a more variety bit of politics, you can keep people humble, and it helps come up with different ideas. Because kind of like with religion, I feel like politics and religion are really huge driving factors behind creating really good stories. It's kind of like in novels. Like a lot of sci-fi novels are inspired off of political incidents and political history. Like in a sense, Minority Report. Minority Report is basically a political story asking the question, how far should we go to prevent crime? That's a very serious political question on the security of a nation. So I just feel like when we say we should take politics out of storytelling, I feel like that's the equivalent of saying we should take religion out of storytelling. I feel like a huge amount of stories are inspired off of politics as well as religion.
Yeah, yeah. And what I don't understand is when you get these people who will complain about something that they find in a comic book. They all they do is they try and fuss up a storm and complain and throw a tantrum. I don't see why they don't just plan to create a counter to that. Is say like, oh,
Well,
this gun is this
well, they
this,
kind of
this
already did do that, but it's just
well,
like
yeah,
it
but
wasn't enough. It's never enough for them.
yeah, because they well they don't want to put in the effort. They'll wait for somebody else to do it, and then they'll support it for 5 minutes, and then when they anything past that, they'll kind of just shrug past, and they'll promote it on Twitter or things, but they won't actually spend money or like put much of put their effort towards whatever they're complaining
Well,
about.
Well, one of the issues is that a lot of these people are self-avowed as communists. Like some of them do like to identify as like with the communist or Marxist movement. And the thing about that is that they don't like to think in, let's say, a free market or capitalistic way, kind of like like most of Comicsgate. So to them, even if a comic book sells terribly and they're killing the industry, they just think it's a capitalistic system and needs to die in the first place. It's kind of one of the reasons why they tend to act with just little disregard for the industries, because it just to them, they hate capitalism.
Yeah, I don't understand. Well, they just don't. I don't get why they don't want to make money. I don't understand.
Well, because they think money is the root of all evil. Like when you look at communists hate the concept of profit and money
Yeah,
because they think it's like the devil.
yeah, they act like they don't need it, but then you have people like Mags Visaggio running Patreons and Kickstarters so he can eat because he runs out of money so quick, and he has
Well,
to live
yeah.
off handouts. I actually talked to Mags a few days ago, and he's just like, I'm not in this to make money. Whatever, I got backup stuff and plans when I run out. I'm like, what is the point of being at a job if you just plan to just scrape by intentionally and live off scraps
We'll see.
and people's coins.
Well, see, it's a good example of how, like, see, Mags, in a sense, is kind of, yeah, it's just another example of the generation, like, this is multiple generations, not just this generation, but multiple generations have the same issue where people told them that you could do whatever you want, just, as long as you're not hurting people, just do whatever you want, be reckless, give into your impulses. And you end up with people who spend very poorly and they also their life doesn't have that much meaning and stuff. That's one of the reasons why a lot of these people are so depressed and angry.
Yeah,
Like, they don't want to admit it, but yeah.
I fear where Mags would be if he wasn't constantly getting handouts. Like, but how many of his comics is just given to him, and how many he actually earns? Like, he just got a Comixology original series they just announced yesterday. I made a video about it.
Is that the Super Freaks?
I don't think so. I looked at it and it wasn't listed with Mags on there. They revealed the names of like 3 of the comics, but they told them they put up who all the writers were. I don't think that one is Mags. But I don't know. It didn't say on Comixology that Mags was on there.
Okay.
But it's going to be sad because whereas you get the number of orders when you look at like Comicron of what LCSs order Max's books, and all in small numbers, but usually between like 2,000 to 4,000, even in stuff like Eternity Girl, which is by DC. It's not people buy them and that's it. It's the comic book store owners see a new title and they order it. It's going to be way different now with digital, because it's just going to be direct numbers. You're not going to get those LCSs that just order them out of seeing a comic book from this person that I keep seeing about. They're going to sit there and it's just going to be low numbers and no one's going to read them.
Well, I think digital is actually might be a good thing, because one of the things that a lot of these like, not just the companies, but I think some of the journalists did, was they were trying to use the order numbers to game the system to make it look like it was selling, because they were counting the orders and not actual sales. So, basically a store orders like America and they say, oh, look, it's doing well. And it's like, no, the store just ordered a lot of copies.
I remember, I think it might have been John Malin, or it was somebody that was working at Marvel that did a live stream recently. I'm pretty sure it was John Malin with that Umbrella guy, saying how all this stuff about Marvel's digital sales is just a load of bullshit. Like, DC apparently does good digital, but Marvel's digitals are terrible. That's why they don't show them ever. And why every single time you look at one of these low-selling Marvel comics that apparently is great digital, they're on sale, and they go from, I see a lot of the SJW Marvel comics, instead of like $4 for a one issue, or like $15 for a volume, they're like 99 cents and $5, and still no one's buying them because nobody wants them. Because the issue is they look at all the diversity check boxes, and then they pick them off, and then they say that's good enough. We don't need to write the character. We don't need to go deep into what makes the character unique and stand out and catch the attention of the reader. They just want to get check boxes, and that's it. And they're fine with that.
Well, it's kind of ironically almost like a worse version of old school Image, because Image Comics was all about the art comes first and the story becomes second, which is why a lot of these Image books would have very terrible stories, because they just focused on the artwork. But with this, it's kind of like the art is not good, the storyline's not good, but the diversity is there. So it's like Image if the whole thing was to focus on diversity, and artwork and story comes second and third.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going through their mind when they think this is a good idea. Like, you can only get so many fedora tips your way before you run out of money, because no one's buying your product, and all you're doing is getting a thumbs up on your hello.
Well, it's kind of like how back in the old days with Image, they had some pretty I don't know, some pretty stubborn personalities in there that basically, when they would do things, you'd kind of like, scratch your head wondering what's going on and stuff.
Yeah, they're starting to fall apart. I mean, like, look at IDW's numbers right now. They're plummeting like rapidly because they're ignoring what the customers want. They're ignoring what the people that that put money into their bank accounts want, and all they want to do is shove politics down people's throats, and they just won't listen.
Well, since a lot of these people are self-avowed communists, like the SJW writers and fans and stuff, well, like in a national scale, communism has a huge habit of bankrupting countries and turning them into hellholes. So
Yeah,
they're just kind of doing that with comic books. Yeah.
They just don't care. They don't care about the thing that makes people happy. They don't care that they're taking this long run, these long run characters that people look at and are get happy about because they enjoy them. They enjoy their stories about them and what they do and what they represent, and they just want to drive them into the dirt for their own game, and they don't care about how they make other people feel, even though they virtue signal and all they want to do is act like they're these beacons for righteousness and compassion, but all they are assholes, really.
Yeah. One of the interesting things about all this is that the companies, despite being like supposedly run by people who are experienced in the industry of business, like profiting, they seem very scared to reason. They just are terrified about like having a PR nightmare where all these SJWs then accuse them of all this sort of bigotry, sexism, racism, and all that stuff.
Yeah, these people are starting to get a little spineless, and it's because they buckle into those things that their profits are all going down, and their customers are starting to step away and look for other people to put their money towards.
Yeah, see, the problem is that I mainly think that one of the biggest blames is just how over the top social media has become in our society, where it's like just someone creates like a social media mob, and these companies decide that they're going to start cracking to them. It's almost like they're scared they're going to be sued and stuff. I mean, I don't think our justice system has gotten that bad, but it's almost like these companies are just worried about lawsuits being done against them for not following these people's ideology.
Yeah, some of these people though are just freaks, and what they complain about is not something a normal person even considers. Do you see all the stuff about the poster for the third How to Train Your Dragon movie and what people are complaining about?
Oh, what was that? What was the complaint? I didn't.
Oh, I've watched the first two movies. I love the movies. A lot of people
Oh
really
yeah,
like
I love the movies too. I thought they were
Oh
great.
yeah, I've been looking forward to the third one because the third one is supposed to be the last one. They said it's going to be even more sadder than the second one.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But yeah, no, I love those movies.
It shows the promotional poster, and it's like Toothless, and he's looking at like a female dragon of the same species, another Night Fury, and she's like, people are complaining that they're like, oh, of course they're gonna put hetero dragons in a movie. What the hell? This is during Pride Month. I'm like, these guys want to push gay dragons in a family movie that's rated PG. What are they? Who watches movies like this and think, man, you know what would make this movie better if the dragon had a boyfriend? I mean, what?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, even if the dragon had a boyfriend, that doesn't improve the story. I mean, girlfriend or boyfriend, it doesn't improve the story at all. It just depends on what what this other character is going to be doing and stuff in the story itself.
I mean, yeah, but it's so ridiculous. That's what someone has to complain about. They aren't complaining about anything that would hurt the characters and what's happening in the other movies and how they're designed. What they have to complain about is that dragon is straight.
Yeah, well, wasn't there also a whole little controversy like a couple years ago where with How to Train Your Dragon 2, what they thought that what's his name, his teacher was in fact gay as well?
Oh, I know who you're talking about, the dude with the missing limbs. He was mentioned in the second movie to be gay, and it's just the thing about these guys is they're never happy. You give them one thing, they're gonna want more.
Yeah.
They can never be satisfied. They're just hungry, thirsty monsters that will stop at nothing to destroy what people care about.
Yeah, it's just I think the thing is that they're so obsessed with all this identity and stuff. And it's just because it's like they're insecure. It's like I just honestly think that these people are insanely depressed and their life has no meaning. So they think that by doing all this obsession with identity politics, they're going to give their life meaning. And that's not how it's going to work. They're still going to be just as depressed and angry as ever and stuff,
Well, yeah, they talk about individuality and how everyone should be their own person and no one should conform and all this stuff. But they want everyone to think exactly like them. If anyone doesn't, they get angry.
Yeah, they
and then
well,
some of
see,
them get violent.
yeah, see, they want controlled individuality and controlled non-conformity. It's like again, it's the same thing. It's like how they want people to not conform, but they go insane and want you to be jailed if you say something offensive.
Yeah, it's utterly stupid, especially like now in Canada. It's a you can get arrested and fined for offending somebody. You can
Yeah,
get you could get fined hundreds of dollars for misgendering someone. That's absolutely ridiculous. Especially
yeah.
if there's infinite genders, you could have a beef with some guy and just decide you're some gender nobody's heard about, and then report on the police, and bam, that guy gets fined for however much money it is.
Well, we thankfully these people don't reproduce at a high rate, so they're going to basically become non-existent in like 10 or 20 years. I mean, that's if the country opens its doors to like the Middle East and Africa, and um, they get overrun by an entirely different population.
They're gonna get they're gonna consume each other, and then the rest of them are just gonna dry out, and that's what we really need to happen.
Yeah, that's basically what's going to happen is either the West is either going to go light patriarchy or hard patriarchy. I kind of coined these terms recently. It was basically the idea that light patriarchy is what the West had before women's suffrage, and then hard patriarchy is basically Islamic patriarchy, where
Yeah,
you have basically harems, women have to cover up and they can't leave a house without a man and stuff.
I don't understand how any feminist could like support anything coming out of the Middle East. I mean, over there, like women
Well,
don't have
it's
rights.
it's all because of intersectionality. See, intersectionality dictates that white supremacy and like whiteness as a whole is the end all be all of people in the world.
Yeah, it's just what led to like the most fair countries on the planet. And then
Yeah,
you have like the Middle East where you got dudes marrying children and beheading anyone who looks at them funny,
yeah. Basically, what
throwing
happened?
gay people off buildings and setting them on fire. Still,
Yeah, basically what happened was is that sorry, feminists in their attempt to basically gain support and get more power, they decided to go intersectionality so they could, court all these different minority groups to basically get more of a voting base. But in the process, they basically backstabbed, people that they were supposed to be supporting.
yeah, they destroyed their own standing just by trying to win. And so, in the process of them trying to win, they ruin their entire platform and just dirties up everything.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like how we went from like, women's suffrage to Anita Sarkeesian complaining about video games.
Oh, I hate Anita Sarkeesian. Everything about Anita Sarkeesian just irritates me.
Well, Serene, it's one of the reasons why I don't like Gail Simone either, because I think she's like the comic book version of Anita Sarkeesian.
I'm not happy right now with Gil Simone. Right when the Terrifics came out, have you read the Terrifics yet?
Oh yeah, I have that on my pull list. It's a really good
I've
series.
only read the first one. I've been looking for the other ones, but I've taken an interest to Plastic Man. I didn't know much about Plastic Man. I really came to start to see him in the whole metal event, and
Yeah,
then
he's one of their DC's older characters, and like aside from this, like his next biggest, I think the next series that he was really big in was like Grant Morrison's JLA series that was going on in the '90s. Like that
yeah,
was also another great team book that he was in. But yeah, he's been around since I think the '40s.
yeah. Like I've seen him in like the 2000 TV show Justice League, and then like I started to see him again in the metal event, and then in the Terrific.
Yeah,
So I got interested, and then of course they announced he's getting a standalone. He's getting his own series, and then I was interested, and then I saw Gail Simone's writing it, and then I just got sad.
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah. I felt the same way.
I'll give it an honest attempt, but I
Yeah.
don't have high expectations for what Gail Simone wants to destroy for the sake
Well,
of.
the thing I don't like about Gail Simone is the fact that she's basically scammed her way into the industry because her claim to fame was basically complaining about how misogynistic comic books were.
Yeah,
This whole women refrigerators thing. And then she gets into the industry. And then recently, I think a couple times she tries to like say, oh, superheroes have always been SJWs and stuff. If that's true, then why did you complain that they were misogynistic in the first place?
well, Gil Simone got fired a couple years ago and only got back in for throwing the women identity label out
I
because
just
she wasn't doing her job.
Oh, I thought she got because I from her I thought she quit DC because she hated like the editors pissed her off
No,
and
no, no,
stuff.
no. She wouldn't turn she wouldn't turn her scripts on time, and then
Yeah.
they tried to get in contact with her, and she was ignoring all their emails, and then just went on vacation without telling anybody. And when
Oh,
she came
okay.
back, she got fired, and then went to social media and then complained about it to avoid the uproar. Uh, they just hired her
Yeah.
back.
That's actually funny because most people don't mention that. Like everyone was blaming the editors and like Dan Didio. I mean, I'm starting to actually like Dan Didio because he's the reason why Gail Simone and Mark Waid left DC. Especially Mark Waid. Like Mark Waid says like he'll never work for DC as long as Dan
Good.
Didio's there.
I don't need Mark Wade ruining any like. Cause I much prefer DC Comics over Marvel. I've always thought DC superheroes were more interesting. Uh,
Yes.
I think they're more widespread. Marvel really only has a handful of characters that I find interesting at all.
So
And
yeah, my opinion on DC Comics, what I like about DC better than Marvel is that I feel like Marvel relies more heavily on melodrama, just in my interpretation of it all, whereas DC to me seems to be more wilder. Like they kind of embrace doing some really interesting and kind of wild ideas,
I
whereas
think
Marvel focuses a lot on the whole, oh, I'm a mutant who has a very hard life, or I'm the Hulk who's always, viewed as a monster, or Spider-Man who has his rent issues and all that stuff.
I just think the DC characters are I think they're far better. They're far less trying to get you to put your mindset into the characters like you get with Marvel characters, and DC characters are more
Hmm.
like who you look up to as like your hero, as
Well,
if you were some kid and what you aspired to be like.
well, the interesting thing is DC characters do have their dark moments where it's like, oh, Hal Jordan is still haunted by the death of his father, who died in
Yeah,
a plane crash. Barry Allen is also still haunted by the death of his mom, who was murdered, and we don't know who exactly killed her and stuff. Like they do have haunted moments, but I just think like for me, DC is like it's weird with DC heroes. They seem like they go between either being for adults or for young adults. Whereas Marvel to me always felt like it's for teenagers and college kids, especially with how SJW Marvel's gone. It just feels like they're trying to cater towards the teenager, like the angsty teenager and college kid crowd.
yeah, DC I think has a much larger palette of options as well, and
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that with DC's movies start to pick up, because obviously I don't like it when people, I know a lot of people that will watch the movies and be like, well, DC must suck because the movies don't do good, but they only know that version of them. That's just because of the
Well,
directors of the movies that fumbled
Well,
and caused issues.
there's an indication. Marvel Comics have been sucking at sales, and DC
Yeah,
has really good sales despite the movies having issues and stuff. So,
I
I
mean,
think the movies have very little effect on the comic book sales, in my
I mean,
personal opinion.
you don't even get. Oh no, it's just people who don't read comics and only watch the movies and like take that
Yeah.
as the face existence. Like, well, these characters must not be good. Like, no,
Well,
shut, get the hell out of here. If you know one version of that's not even close to the version that made them all famous in the
well,
first place.
Well, it's easier to watch a movie than read a comic book. Like the lore in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is really simplistic. Like there is almost no complexity to Marvel films whatsoever. I
Well,
mean,
most
I
of
like
the
the Winter Soldier, but literally,
yeah, yeah, I do too.
it's not great cinema. It's not the best type of Hollywood cinema out there. It's really simple. Like it to me, it has the complexity of a child's book, with
Yeah,
that
this
happens to also have violence in it that makes it PG-13. So it has the complexity of a child's book, but it also has adult stuff like violence and cursing in it.
so the even with the flop of the Justice League movie and like the areas that they really messed up in, I there are parts of it that I like way more than the Marvel movies. One is that the all the characters feel like their own. They all feel like their own hero. Like if you just erase all the other characters and you just put each of them in the spotlight, they could probably save the day themselves somehow and figure out a plan. Whereas the most of the Marvel characters, they just feel like idiots with superpowers, and they can't do anything without being in a larger team most of the time. And You could really do most of the Avenger movies with just two key characters. You could do both 1 and 2 with Iron Man and the Hulk, and you could do most of Infinity War with just the Doctor Strange, Iron Man, and Thor. You don't really need a whole lot of the other cast members. Whereas in Justice League, everybody did something. Everybody was useful. Everybody brought something to the table. And that was one of the things that I thought was a much bigger plus with DC. And where I'm at now with where I'm kind of viewing the direction of the movies is with the fact that they're doing a Captain Marvel movie, even though nobody likes Captain Marvel, and then they're doing a Miss Marvel movie. This next phase of Marvel movies, I think, are going to get into the much shittier zone, because something that DC still has over Marvel is their more junior heroes are much better built. If you got the core characters on each side. You got DC's got Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Flash, and Marvel's got Spider-Man, Thor, Hulk. But when it gets down to like next gen, DC's got all the different Robins. They've got and they got characters like Static Shock, Blue Beetle. They got tons of people. Who does Marvel really have?
Well, the thing is that Marvel only recently started to try add these legacy characters, whereas DC has kind of have always had always had the junior heroes since basically Robin, since he's the first kid sidekick to appear in comic books. Like Marvel had Speedy and Toro, but then they aged them in these recent continuity shifts by Marvel. Because, Stan Lee always had his little vendetta against kid sidekicks. Like, he's always said that he never liked the idea. He thought it was really unrealistic to do that. But, I think just Marvel followed his example and decided that kid sidekicks weren't going to be a thing.
See, I don't get that when you have, starting Spider-Man. Like, he was, 15 when you really...
Yeah, but he wasn't considered a psychic. He wasn't a psychic. He was a hero. So that was Stan Lee's, idea, was that Spider-Man was a teenager who wasn't a psychic but a hero.
Yeah, but the psychic portion always feels like it's really just a in training thing. I mean, you pass a lot of it's not like a sidekick. It's you're somebody's golf caddy where you just carry their stuff around. They're inexperienced and they have somebody that already knows what they're doing, kind of helping them and leading them down a path. I don't really get why the kid sidekick is really a weird concept.
Well, the funny thing is the original idea behind the kid sidekick was the fact that the creators noticed that if there wasn't a sidekick, then the character would be constantly talking to themselves. So I guess they thought that would look either weird or just disturbing to see a character constantly monologuing to himself.
Yeah.
So they put in Robin as a way so Batman could actually have someone else to talk to. It's the same reason why they introduced Jimmy Olsen, is because he needed to have basically someone who was just a close friend and stuff, so Superman could talk to him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But DC really kind of saw it as, and eventually led it down to this next generation of heroes and these younger crew, and they do really well with it. Teen Titans, great show, great runs. Young Justice, amazing. I'm so excited for season 3. I check up on the DC website every day to wonder if that streaming service is up. It's like I'm watching Young Justice.
Yeah, it's for me, when it comes to magic, I always thought DC blows Marvel out of the water. Because I like Doctor Strange and I like Ghost Rider, but in terms of supernatural, the new supernatural genre, DC to me just is far better at making those comic books.
Oh yeah, they got Constantine and Zatanna. They got
Constantine, Zatanna. The Shadow Pact, Justice League Dark. Detective Chimp is now hanging with the supernatural characters.
I really hope they don't mess up the Justice League Dark movie. I think John Constantine is so interesting.
I think if they do make it, I think it will be good because Guillermo del Toro is the one who developed the film, and he is really good at writing those types of movies.
Oh yeah, they just put out a new list of their movies that they still have planned, and that was still on there.
I have to look that up sometime because I haven't looked up the movie news in a while.
One that I want them, I'm extremely anxious for, but I'm very nervous about is they want to do a Lobo movie, and Lobo is such a anti-soy character that I think that movies really need right now. Is you just have you have this badass guy who doesn't give a shit and does whatever he feels like, and he I think his backstory of the fact that he was like a huge like unopposed villain and then kind of moved his way to be like an anti-hero would be really interesting to see in a movie.
Yeah, that seems well. That's interesting. Is have you seen the fan made trailer of Lobo? It's pretty fun. It's a pretty good one.
I haven't. I'll have to look that up.
Okay, I forgot who the who what channel posted it, but it's really hilarious. Like he basically goes into like a monologue about all the different Justice League members and stuff, how like they're the greatest of the great, noble, seek truth, justice, the American way, and he then responds as I don't give a dick prick and stuff, and just like tosses his like cigar at the screen.
I've been reading. I've been reading what I think is one of his '90s runs right now, and it's you don't get characters like him anymore. You don't get this guy who's like, man, I'm tired of this character running off. So he's escorting this old woman as another one of his race, and he was pissed off because the whole thing where he killed his whole race so he could be the only one. But this old lady was a surviving person, but he already agreed to escort her wherever this guy like hired her to take her, and that he doesn't go back on when he says he's going to do something. So he even though he wants to kill her, he refuses to because he's a man of his word. But he's pissed off that she keeps wandering off, so he cuts off her legs, and he's like pulling her around by her hair and just being an asshole. But you don't get characters like that anymore because people would just complain about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like I like how they portrayed him as the reason why he's immortal is because he died, went to hell, they kicked him out. He went to heaven, they kicked him out, so he's effectively unkillable now.
Yeah, I love Lobo. Lobo is
like
so interesting. He's such a fun character. He was in you see him in No Justice?
No, I didn't read No Justice, but I know I know he's in there.
Oh hey, it's I Love Comics. Hello. He says he also loves Shadow Pact.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the whole thing about the thing about Lobo that I find interesting is he's not a bad guy. He was bad at the start, but really where you see him like as an adult, he's not evil. He's not some villain. He's really his own dude. And I think that's what an anti-hero really needs, because even though Deadpool is like, the first kind of big anti-hero movie, they're really starting to push him only towards good guy stuff. He needs to be doing more of like, even though it's evil, it's if he feels like he'll do it, he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, see, I feel like see, that's the thing is that one of the things I like about this new stuff is that Lobo, they finally made him muscular again, because I hated the New 52 redesign they did of him to make him the Thing guy. Yeah, I think the joke was he was like Twilight Lobo or something like that. That was the gag. But I'm just glad that he's muscular again, even if it's not that great. I'm just glad to see they went back to the old design that everyone loved. But the thing about one of the things I do like about DC is I feel like DC handles anti-heroes better, because I get the appeal of Deadpool, but I'm just kind of getting sick of the amount of attention he gets. And it's like, again, he's kind of like a walking meme. And after a while, it just gets, I don't know, grating.
With Deadpool?
With the constant meme. Yeah, like he's like a walking meme, basically.
Deadpool is part of the bane of my existence. Not for his character, but the fan base.
So his fan base is crazy too. But it's that's the thing is they push him too much. Like it's like people complain that Batman gets pushed too much, which I understand. I kind of agree that Batman gets pushed too much. But at least Batman, I feel like, given his mythos and what you can do with them as a character, it makes sense. Whereas Deadpool, he's like a walking cartoon. It's like
so Deadpool has this whole thing. Like I get really salty about what I refer to as bandwagon fans. You get these guys who will be walking around with the Deadpool T-shirt, and they'll make as many movie references as they can think of, and they talk about how their favorite character is Deadpool, and then you could be like, hey, what's your opinion on an insert a reference to like an adventure, and they're like, what are you talking about? That wasn't in the movie. They're like, oh no, I'm talking about this comic run. They're like, I don't read comic books. You know, those guys who act like they love something so much and it's their favorite thing, but they won't put any effort to actually take in anything about the character beyond what's the easiest, most convenient, what's the biggest pop culture thing at the moment. And I do that with really all fandoms, like anime and manga too. It's the pretend fake fans that really just kind of stick me right in my craw. And I get that with Deadpool. Like, it's different if you say you like it and you're like, oh, I enjoyed this, I'm gonna get into it now. Like, I got really into Red Lanterns after just seeing them for momentarily. I looked at them and I read them and I got really into them. And I bought all the volumes I could. I'm still trying to get backtrack and read everything about the spawn of them, their core. But like, if you watch Deadpool and you're like, all right, I'm gonna now get really into Deadpool, that's fine. But something about those bandwagon people that just don't really give a shit, they only like them because they're popular, it really just annoys me. I mean, it's good that you have them because they help the product push the merchandise and get more movies and more media, but at the same time, they're a necessary evil that I'll never love, but I appreciate at the same time. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going? How are you?
Going good, man. Just
Where
got out
are
of
you?
work.
Are you in your car?
You in a car?
Yeah, I'm almost home.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying, it's like, yeah, that's a lot of background.
Sorry. Yeah, it's like a freak rainstorm, all kinds of stupid shit.
Okay. Yeah, so
I missed anything?
no, we were just talking a bit. We started off talking about like the SJW issues in comic books, and we were also talking a bit about Deadpool, about how like he's kind of pushed a little too far. Like, me personally, I would rather like watch a movie about Batmite than Deadpool, because I find Batmite's, I don't know, just more funny of a character compared to Deadpool.
Deadpool's been that way since Way was writing him, when he turned into LOL, so random, look at my speech bubbles. Did I tell you about chimichangas? I fucking love that shit, dog.
Break the fourth wall, make a reference to something else, the character.
Yeah, it's like
breaking the fourth wall is fine as a character trait. Like, that's what made him popular again. But
he does it too much.
Yeah, I mean,
Way's writing pushed it to that. It got that Invader Zim crowd, and you all know who that is. It got the LOL, let me talk about tacos, my dude. Oh, did you see that fucking moose? Ain't that shit funny? No, it's not.
have you ever read a Batmite comic? Like, Batmite, I think he breaks the fourth wall in a pretty good way and stuff. Like, I like him as a character because he's essentially meant as a joke on the fanboy in comic books.
Yeah, I think the movies balance his fourth wall breaking and his randomness a lot better. If they went it to the higher level, then it would just get annoying.
Did anybody else read Dagon's run? The one pre-Secret War?
No.
It was really good. It was solid. They had Brian Posehn as the writer on it as well, so him and Dagon both worked on it. It was actually funny. It was handled well. It had serious moments. He broke the fourth wall, but not to the point where I'm like, eh. It was more like, I get that reference, and in this context, it works pretty good. And like I told, I think I told Flash about it. It's got the happiest, best Deadpool ending you're gonna get when it gets up to that Secret Wars final issue.
Yeah,
I could spoil it, but I don't know if anybody cares enough to go back and read it or not.
I don't really read much for Marvel. You could.
Does anybody care if I just tell you how it ends?
Just go for it.
All right. So during that run, and I know how this is gonna sound, and you're gonna be like, "Well, see, that's pretty fucking stupid." But in context, it makes sense. In that run, he became best friends with the ghost of Benjamin Franklin because a necromancer started summoning dead other people.
You're breaking up.
And he summoned Benjamin Franklin.
You broke up.
All right, how about now?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah.
All right, sorry. So necromancer starts to summon all these dead presidents and all these other people, and he summons Benjamin Franklin as well by accident because he doesn't know any better. He's like, he's on money, that counts. So he hangs out with the ghost of Benjamin Franklin. He then is later possessed by a sassy black shield agent who is actually pretty cool, which that was actually pretty good. He ends up getting her body back. He hangs out with her family. He reunites with a daughter he didn't know he had after finding out that the girl he slept with had been tortured by the medical facilities that kind of worked on him. And that was actually pretty heavy. But the last issue, he's got like a posse of people that he hangs out with. He's got Benjamin there. He's got some friends at S.H.I.E.L.D. He's got sassy black shield lady, his daughter, all that, and they're all on a yacht out in the middle of the boat because he pulled off the last big job he thought he'd have to do. And then Secret War happened, and the universes collide. So pretty much the 616 planet and the Ultimate Planet crashed together, and they got caught in the explosion, and him and all of his friends and family were incinerated into a burst of fire. And the last thing he says is, "This is probably the happiest ending I'll ever have because I have everybody that actually likes me here." And then he's just, he gets the anime blast elimination as he smiles. And that's the end of that run. And I'm like, fuck, that was good.
It's funny as you were explaining that the background noise got louder and stuff. So I was like, what, are you about to incinerate it by a blast of fire?
Yeah, dude. Exactly. I got this guy in a truck trying to.
I saw they want to make. So, do you see the whole thing of who they're talking about for the villain for the Batman movie now?
No.
They want to do the Penguin, and they put out a picture of someone did. I don't know if this is official or they did fan art, but Andy Serkis really wants to be in it, so they did a picture of him as the Penguin, and it looks awesome. And apparently, I think one of the reasons that is they also plan on making a Deathstroke movie. And I'm curious to know how that will play out, whether people will be aware that, like, if it got out there and, you know, you get people who will assume that Deadpool was based off of Deathstroke.
Arrow is popular enough right now, I think. And I know I don't watch it, but I got people at work that don't shut up about Deathstroke. They're like, he's so cool in the show. He's a badass. I'm just like, yeah.
He is badass, but
so people know him.
Some people know. Yeah. I'm curious to know the masses that will be like, oh, he's just he looks too much and sounds like Deadpool, and the copy's Deadpool, and you're gonna have anybody who actually knows.
They act nothing alike because of Deadpool's LOL for random nature. He is like his own bullshit now.
I'm talking about like when Deadpool gets serious and he like actually does cool shit and isn't making jokes, and if you just pointed out his chatter and just showed him being a badass.
That's like saying, I'm trying to think of another fair comparison.
Yeah, I didn't portray that or put that.
Yeah, Deadpool can't get serious. Deadpool, it's too far. I don't think Deadpool will ever get serious again, really, because that's not what sells. Everyone wants the meme.
Everybody wants. Well, that's what all the movies are for the most part. That's why the ones that are in character to be that way work. Like Ant-Man. I love Ant-Man. A lot of people shit on that movie. I think it works for what it is. It's a gimmicky superhero.
Are you gonna watch the next one?
Heist movie. Oh yeah, I'm ready for it.
I will watch it probably when it comes to YouTube, and I could pay $5 to watch it. I don't think I'm gonna watch it in theaters.
I'll pay to go see it.
I'm afraid he's going to become a sidekick in his own movie, and I'm going to see the first real step towards Marvel movies turning like the comics, and all the men become beta males, and all the women just show them every minute.
Soy boys.
Because she's actually likable in the movie, and she's attractive.
She's likable.
We'll see when it shows up. I'm just nervous about it because Marvel's movies are starting to take those steps to walk down the SJW pathway.
I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're announcing Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel at once, then yeah, no, that's red flags right there and
So
stuff.
the thing about Captain Marvel is they could have done Captain Marvel and taken her character and done her fine, but they continued to get this boy built person like Brie Larson,
No, let me just throw this
put her
out
in an
here.
ugly suit, and then they're instead of writing her as a good thing, they're going to replace Adam Warlock's role because they've already said Adam Warlock is not going to be in Avengers 4.
Which
I
is
already
weird
know what
because
the
he was
deal
in
is.
because they previewed him in Guardians 2.
He's going to be.
You,
They already said that he's going to be in the third one. He's not going to be in Avengers
You
4.
guys saw the shots for the next one, right? Like you already saw the on scene.
I've seen some of them.
Did you see the one with Tony and Ant-Man?
There's like time travel stuff.
Yeah, there's time travel stuff. They got
Dear.
green gems on their wrists.
Like time travel, that is. Oh,
well, they time travel at least once. I don't know how accurate this is. They time travel to at least Avengers 1, and they run into Avengers 1 Captain America. But it's Tony and Scott Lang running around, and you know what? It might be cool.
I'm not.
It might suck.
Yeah, time travel is quickly becoming one of the biggest sins in storytelling. Like,
But it's
so many
also-
people do stupid things with time travel.
It's also comic book bullshit, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
the more
that's
comic
still
book
bad
a movie is, I'm all about it. That's why
yeah,
Guardians
but there's
movies
some
are
comic book bullshit that we don't need to repeat again.
Yeah, time
like back in the '90s, there's a lot of stuff people want to remain dead from that decade.
Time travel can be very lazy done. Like, I always preferred any form of time travel to tell some form of event in a story that you never saw versus trying to time travel cheat fix a problem.
Yeah. No, like X-Men versus whatever. Or wait, no, it wasn't X-Men.
Days of Future Past.
No, not Days of Future Past. It's that recent X-Men story that Brian Michael Bendis did, where they committed a cardinal sin, where they travel back in time and make so the villain isn't born.
You know what the bullshit part about that was? And I'm going back to, I've already talked to Flash about it. They try their hardest to make Scott Summers evil or like mutant Hitler, but he calms that weird super erase everybody villain kid down. He calms him down, and then fucking Shield shows up and shoots at him, and he spurgs out and erases everybody. And then their master plan is, I know what I'll do. I'll go back in time and talk to Charles Xavier, who lied to this kid for years, and I'll have him go back in time and make it where this kid's parents never met. So he was never born. And I'm like, are you fucking serious?
This time, time travel cheat fix problem's sake. I don't like it.
Good job, Michael.
I don't like it. That's one of the things I like about it. Do you watch Legends of Tomorrow?
No. I've heard good things about it, though.
They bring up the whole thing of like time travel fixing problems can really break the timeline, and it's like really bad idea. And I thought it was good to establish that really quickly when you have time travel bullshittery.
That's why I like what Zdarsky did, and I know he could have took the easy way out, but he did that. Let's use the Doctor Doom time travel machine that doesn't fuck your own timeline up. It lets you fuck somebody else's timeline up, because that's more interesting when you get you get the future Trunks bullshit going on. So let me go back to the past and change stuff. It won't change my future, but it'll save this future, and maybe, just maybe, I'll know how to stop it.
I mean, Dragon Ball Z did handle time travel pretty interesting. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, we travel back in time to fix everything. We just, we just have a different course. Like, people still die, and there is an effect to,
I want to talk about Dragon Ball Z, but first, real quick, what I think is really funny is the build for Captain Marvel. I think can be done properly, and in I don't know, maybe the movie won't suck. I don't have any faith for the movie, but maybe it won't suck. But Miss Marvel, I think, would look, no matter what, going to look stupid on screen. I think it's going to be awful. I don't feel like they should even attempt to give her own movie. I think Kamala Khan is not in any way interesting to watch. Her
You
powers
know what I thought
are
of?
so boring.
There's actually a My Hero Academia power. There's a character that has that power. I didn't notice it till the other day.
It's a side character. No one gives a shit out.
It's
Oh
hey man, she's cute, dude. Don't talk shit.
Man,
Well,
I don't.
Well, think about there's some superpowers like with Kamala Khan's superpowers, kind of like a Plastic Man. Like they wanted to make a Plastic Man movie, and it's kind of like Kamala Khan and Plastic Man's powers are kind of very much better for the comic book or cartoon format. They look more cartoonish.
Yeah,
Whereas
well,
in real life
I mean,
it look weird.
Mr.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's
Not
a-
Plastic Man.
Mr. Fantastic, though, even though it looked kind of silly on screen, they didn't have the same. They didn't have him walk around with comedically giant hands.
Well, there's
on a 5'1" brown girl. That's gonna look so dumb.
Yeah, that is true. But I mean, the thing is, Plastic Man is he's more powerful than Mr. Fantastic. Like Plastic Man is actually shape shifting kind of a way. Like he's not really actually made of plastic. Like
he has like control of his whole molecular structure.
He's pure shapeshift. Mr. Stretch Armstrong is really smart.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. Thinking like Batman in like the JLA comic book from the '90s, I think said that Plastic Man could actually potentially kill the entire Justice League if he wanted to.
Yeah, Plastic Man is apparently like a huge threat, but the what was I going to say? I don't know. I think that Kamala Khan is just not an interesting character. I don't think any of the humans besides Black Bolt really have any form of interest, in my opinion. I think they're all boring.
I don't care about the Inhumans.
Yeah, she
is now. They made her one.
Okay, I know. Well, the Inhumans is Disney tried to replace the X-Men because of the little Fox thing, and it failed epically. Like the movie's been canceled now, and like the TV show canceled as well, or did that?
Oh, it did not get renewed for another season. It was horrible.
Yeah, it got fucking. Yeah.
The only thing about the whole TV show that I ever liked was I liked Black Bolt's character, and that was pretty much it.
The only part I ever liked about that show is that one time, what's his name? Karnak? Karnak completely fucks up. He like does the whole thing where he's trying to get the right trajectory to hit a table, to hit a thing, to make a house fall down, to crush some people. And he like hit his head, so he fucked it up completely.
He was kind of cool. I liked Karnak a bit. Black Bolt I thought was a very compelling character. I thought he was very interesting.
I just don't like the Inhumans.
Yeah,
I like to make
boring.
the comparison. Mutants are humans that want to hang out with humans and they want to be accepted. And humans are a bunch of pussies who want to go sit in their safe space on the moon and hate humans from afar. And that
I thought Inhumans were hipsters. Sounds like Inhumans are hipsters.
Humans are lame.
Like they're too cool. Like they're too cool for humans. Like they think they're too cool for humanity. Yeah,
they're boring, and their powers. The thing about the Inhumans is oh god, did you get pulled over?
Nah, that's just the ambulance because I was close by a hospital. But like the thing is that with the thing is right now they're using the mutants again. They're also trying to turn them into SJWs now. Like the whole Iceman fiasco. Yeah. Like that Iceman series was cringe.
The mustard and bigotry.
Oh yeah,
you know what's really funny? So I did a video on that issue, and if you look at the first few pages, when they're all in their big group hug, and they all look like they have Down syndrome, the only person not in the hug is Iceman. They kick out the only gay guy.
Nobody wants to hug him.
Because in Iceman #6, he like blasts apart that woman's like recreation of a symbol. Like, he says it's a symbol of hate and stuff. It's like it's a symbol of hate.
He almost kills her in the process.
Yeah,
it's like a random person.
Yeah, and then there's like and like his
I don't know if you can hear me. I'm in a bad tree line spot.
Wait, what?
Can y'all hear me? I'm in a tree line and I don't want to turn full static.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I was gonna say was what's really bad is did anybody else read Avengers Academy?
What?
No.
Nobody else read Avengers Academy? There's a kid in that named Stryker. And he is this pretentious celebrity kid where his mom wanted him to be the kid on the Life cereal box or some shit like that. And she wanted him to be a child star. he hits on all the girls and he does this, that, and the other, but he's never in a relationship with any of them, and he avoids them. And he also has moments where he turns a little bit more feminine, and he's like, oh, well, you should do this. It'll help your nails. This will clean.
I think we lost you.
There was a connection issue. Oh, there you go.
Oh, I think we lost you. You cut
All
off.
right. All right. We good?
Yeah. You have to start over.
Okay. No, it's fine. How far did I get?
You were talking about him being effeminate.
Nails, and then you cut off. It's all about doing snails.
Oh no, he starts to show that he's got some feminine features to him. Like he gets a scar, gets all mad. He's like, nobody's gonna hire this. Blah blah blah. So one of the girls is having issues. He like helps them with their nails or their skin. He's like, oh well, my mom does this, and this will make you look good for this. And he has moments where he shows he's a little bit feminine. He avoids women, but he hits on them just for status. And then he has an issue where he comes out of the closet. And he comes out of the closet and tells like, oh, well, you know, my mom signed me up for this gig. And this producer guy started to, you know, he molested me. But then my powers kicked in and I electrocuted him and killed the fuck out of him. And I don't know, like I just kind of got confused, and he pulled it off and he made it seem human. But because of his ways, when he did come out, instead of just changing character, he stayed in character. He fucking put on a press conference to come out, and he literally goes, yeah, I'm a member of Avengers Academy, I'm a superhero, and I'm coming out of the closet. If you need to get in contact with me, you can call my agent, blah, blah, blah. And he's pretty much just doing it as a gig. And he's doing it as a big publicity stunt. And the girl that he came out to, she's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm sorry. This sells. If I'm going to come out, I might as well, you know, make it. And then he calls that I'm dating one of the dudes from Glee, do this, that, and the other, hook me up with this, that, and the other, blah, blah. And he just makes a big thing of it. He pretty much does what Iceman did to come out, but he did it in a more natural, better way. And he stays in character. He doesn't go full flamboyant, you know, homo, standout, cutout copy character. And it's embarrassing because I see it again in this Iceman shit, and it's like, are you fucking kidding me? It's pathetic.
Yeah,
you can make. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, luckily, not even the gays people liked Iceman's run with Xena Grace.
It disgusts me to say it, because 4chan doesn't have a comic Discord because they hate it. So I went to the rungs and decided, well, I guess I'll see what this Reddit Discord's got going on. I said Iceman was bad. I was immediately told, well, this book is not for you. I'm like, well, who's it for? If it's not for me, who's it for? Like, what is that supposed to mean?
Glad I don't post on Reddit. I don't even go to Reddit.
Yeah, I got kicked out because I got kicked out because I said that the new Hulk book is retarded and the new Iceman is pretty terrible.
Yeah, so
and they say I said that, and immediately, like 5 seconds later, I had an administrator or mod come in and was like, this is your only warning, don't use that language anymore. I'm like, you need to come up with better insults. I'm like, okay, the new Incredible Hulk book is cucked. It is a very cucked book. Is that better? Like, final warning. And I was like, I'm just gonna leave. This whole thing's retarded. The book sucks. I don't get you.
Yeah, it's just Reddit. Yeah, Reddit's not a good platform really anymore. It's just really triggered.
It's never been a good platform. But the mentality that came with that is what really put me off. It's I'm not allowed to say factually that Iceman is bad because it's a bad book, because it is not for me. And
it's not for anyone.
Is perplexing as shit.
It's not for anyone. Well, that's why nobody bought it.
Well, it falls into this other rung. Well, it's like, okay, so you're telling me that the only reason Iceman is good is because it's for gay people. And it's like, what if, what does that mean? Do you mean that the straight books are not for gay people? Does that mean straight people aren't allowed to like gay books? What are you trying to get at? Am I not allowed to judge something by its merit? Am I supposed to give it a free pass for diversity? What do you want? And then I sat there and I actually talked about it because I do read these books. I hate them, but they're funny.
Yeah, it's getting pretty awful. I can't stand what they're doing right now with a lot of these characters that they didn't create or don't put any effort to make better, only want to throw their ideas everywhere.
Well, the reason that Iceman's even gay is just because that's what Bendis does. Brian Michael Bendis is a hack who does bad books, and when he doesn't do something that's eventful or good, he's like, let me look back at this. Nothing really happened. I literally wrote a bunch of chapters that led to nothing.
I
What
hope
can
that
I
he
do?
doesn't fuck up Superman. Like, Superman
He's going to,
Man of
because
Steel 1 was
his entire run, his run on Superman is going to go like it did with Guardians, like it did with X-Men, like it did everything else. Spider-Man even. I'm about to get off of this book. What do I need to do? I'll kill Spider-Man. I'm about to get off of Guardians. What should I do? I'll change the entire backstory of Venom and his species. I'm about to get off of X-Men. What do I need to do? I know what I'll do. Bobby Drake is gay now for no reason.
Wait, was that Bendis who made Bobby Drake gay?
Yeah.
Oh,
he
what?
did all new X-Men and he did Uncanny X-Men.
Oh,
Uncanny was the lesser of the two evils because as much as they like to give Scott Summers shit for being the neo-mutant Hitler, Hank McCoy is the most horrible mutant on the face of the planet at this point.
How is he the most horrible mutant?
Did you hear? Okay, well, let's start back. I'm going to eventually, if I ever get the balls to do it, I'm going to do a chronological story of how Cyclops is Hitler now and why it makes no sense.
Make the video. I'll watch it.
Okay.
So here's what the breakdown is. More or less. They had this mission once upon a time. I can't remember what the run was. But Cyclops and Beast and a couple other people had to go save someone. They had to sacrifice somebody, have them be captured, and then they would be rescued later so that the rest of the team could finish the mission. Scott would have done it, but he got tortured on the planet later after they got to the rest of the thing. Everybody got fucked up and ruined. But Hank McCoy had to be the bait and switch for this. So he got tortured for about 3 weeks by some aliens. He held that really fucking close, and he blamed Scott for it. So he turned into a colossal dick. He shows up to Nightcrawler's funeral while they're carrying his casket, walks up to Scott and says he's an idiot, a fool, and how selfish he is to ever do that. Even though Scott saved a bunch of people doing that. He just couldn't suck it up. All Scott has to say to him is, well, I'm glad you made it, Hank. I'm sure Kurt would have loved to know that you showed up. They go to the actual funeral. Everyone has something nice to say. Everybody.
Yeah.
Logan actually sits and has a really heartfelt speech about it. Scott goes on about it. Kitty goes on about it. Everybody loved Kurt. They cut over to Hank. What does he say? We were both blue, I guess.
Damn.
Shrugs his shoulder and he's done with it. Then the whole thing with Cyclops happens. He goes off and does his shit. And Beast is getting worse with the I'm dying and turning blue disease. His thought process at this point is, I'm really in a bad spot. If I keep turning blue, I'm eventually going to die. I know what I'll do. I'll go back in time when I was younger and less blue and get some of my blood and see if I can fix my blue problem.
So he sits there and he ponders it, and he's like, doing this could rip all of space and time to shreds and destroy it. And it also contributed to Secret War, because the concept of Secret War is the universe is cracking and falling apart because all these dumb assholes keep time jumping and breaking shit. So he goes back to the past. He meets the original four or whatever, and he comes up to him, and his young self is like, hey, me from the future, what the fuck are you doing? This is a terrible idea. He's like, oh, I'm here because Scott Summers in the future is Hitler. And they're like, what? Really? He's like, yeah, we gotta take all of you to the future so you can learn a lesson. So he don't turn into that. And they're like, well, if it's really that bad and you would risk all that to come get us, it must be really important. So they go to the future, and everybody looks at young Scott Summers, and they're like, oh shit, it's little Hitler. And he's not there 5 minutes, and old Hank looks over at young Hank. He's like, hey man, let me get some of that blood. So he does that. He cures himself, and then he's like, all right, there you go, fuckers. I'm good. Oh, Scott, who cares? Hank McCoy is the worst mutant right now because they made him go from that cool guy that used to hang upside down and read books and crack jokes to an asshole who will sacrifice everything so that he doesn't turn more blue.
Okay.
Unfortunate.
So Nightcrawler's dead, though.
He was dead, and then he came back because, like a good little Catholic, he sat at the gates of heaven because he didn't think he was good enough to go in.
So he sat at the gates of heaven, didn't think he was good enough to go in, so they brought him back.
They had a storyline with that, but the fact that he was sitting out in front of the gates of heaven because he didn't think he was worth going in was pretty good. I'm like, all right, I can see that. He's one of those whip yourself because you're a sinner Catholics.
Like,
at least you're keeping it in.
So wait,
tow.
he's still Catholic though. I'm surprised. It seems like they would not allow anyone to be Catholic anymore because it's too offensive.
Matt Murdock is still Catholic. Eddie Brock is still Catholic.
Yeah, it's no reason why. But there's no reason why Matt Murdock he's not really center stage anymore. It seems like Marvel wants to get rid of every Christian in their mythos, like to not have them take over.
Well, you got to make room for that new Muslim hotness. Yes. How else are you going to segregate the women? So I'm trying to think of what else happened with that. Oh, yeah. So here's pretty much what happens with Bobby Drake. He's an idiot. He has always been a fucking idiot. He may have had moments where he was smart, but he's always been dumb as shit.
Well, you don't like Bobby Drake as a character?
Yes. Emma Frost took over his body and found out, oh, hey, you're like an Omega level mutant. You could freeze the planet. You could disappear and reappear by traveling through the liquid in the air or some shit. It had a lot of bullshit. He can make armies of himself. But he's too fucking stupid. He legitimately is so dumb, all he can come up with is, I'm going to make a cool ice sled and surf around. That is Bobby Drake. So, young Jean Grey is in the future. She's telekinesis. She's a huge cunt because now she's a 16-year-old angsty bitch with power she shouldn't have, and she's reading everybody's minds. So, Bobby is hitting on everything that has legs. He sees magic and he's like, oh my God, teacher, I hate to see you go, but I love to watch you leave. And the only person he's not hitting on is Jean. Because nobody wants to hit on Jean Grey anymore. Because you got all this hotness running around.
What the hell did what did they do to Jean Grey? Like,
wait. Isn't Bobby gay at this point? So why would we be hitting on?
No, he is not gay. He is not gay till later in that book. Up to that point, he is legit walking up. He's like, oh my God, there's so many cute girls here. Oh my God, magic. Work your magic on me.
That's kind of interesting because a lot of people in comics gay actually like Bobby before he turned gay.
Bobby, but then he turned gay. Ultimate Bobby is a cool kid. He goes on dates, hangs out with girls, Hangs out
you
with
don't
Spider-Man.
but you said you don't like even Bobby before he turned gay.
Hmm?
You said you didn't like Bobby even before he turned
No, I just said he was stupid.
gay. Okay.
I never said I didn't like him. I just said he was dumb as shit. I never liked Jean.
You never
Jean
liked
has
Jean Grey.
always been that bitch that is like, hey, I'm the girl on the team, so I'm like the only pussy here. You should be like fawning over me. And she hates competition. She hates Emma Frost. She hates everybody.
That's true because everyone seems to like Jean Grey, like in the comic book community.
Nobody likes her.
Really?
Everybody was happier when she's dead.
Oh, but this is a comic book people liked her before the whole SJW Marvel thing happened.
Now people would, like, if you ask people what their favorite couple is, if you had to put Scott Summers with somebody, people are going to say Emma Frost because they had good chemistry. She wasn't Miss
Really?
Perfect. Oh, yeah, dude. She was great.
It seems like okay, fine. It seems like in the other media, Jean Grey and Scott are pretty good together. Like she's
They're
more better
good together when they're written well. Back in the day, they were a cute couple. But after she died, things changed. They had characters move on, get in different relationships. It made sense. He hooked up with Emma because they talked a lot. We're on the same team, slept together, but they synchronized.
That's kind of funny.
She acted like less of a whore, and he was still banging psychic girls. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, but didn't the what was it? But didn't people hate Scott because apparently, he banged her like a week or 2 weeks after she died? Like, because that's one reason why everyone hates Scott. That's the thing is like everyone at tons of fans of Marvel
people hate Scott. People hated Scott because he wasn't Wolverine.
Huh?
That's why
people said they hate him because they thought he was like a dick or something. Like he basically was like the asshole guy who would move on from you even if you died like a week before.
He was
the
guy that read Sun Tzu front to back 10 times for fun. He was the goody-goody Boy Scout guy who stuck to the mission like a soldier instead of Wolverine who snicked bubs because he felt like it and got emotional and fucking ruined shit on a regular basis.
So you mean
people don't like Scott Summers because he will always be cartoon Cyclops. He will never be Snicked Bub. He will never be I go where I want to go.
So what you're saying?
He'll never be that.
So you're saying is the people who hate Scott Summers are either like the people who basically like bad boys who end up in shitty relationships.
I'm saying the people that hate Scott Summers are the people that grew up on the cartoon.
Okay.
Because the cartoon made him bland. It's like how people say, I hate Leonardo. Why? Well, he's boring. I'm like, okay. Does that make him a bad person?
Are you talking about
Scott Summers is not a bad dude. He had some pretty good moments. You need to read, I don't even like him, but he had a really good run of X-Men. What's his name? He did the first Avengers movie. And Ultron.
Oh, Joss Whedon?
Joss Whedon did a good X-Men run. Read it.
I don't know if I want to read any of this stuff after.
Look, that was back when he did Buffy and did sitcom shit. But at least he liked characters back then.
I don't like that. Joss Whedon's humor really bothers me.
Yeah, Buffy is still has SJW stuff in it.
I mean, back then it was called trendy. Now it's called the law.
Yeah.
It's that's what makes it bad. It's okay when you do it sometimes. Not all the time.
Yeah.
But back to why Iceman's gay, why it's dumb. The reason I brought up how stupid he is because the popular theory is that teen Jean Grey gets jealous and says, Bobby, what are you doing? And he's like, what? He's like, you don't know? And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, Bobby, you're gay now.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, what?
The whole mind twist theory.
It's a good theory.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah, there's theory. She mentally compelled him to be gay.
Well, she's literally become the personification of Tumblr. It's just an angry feminist chick that just wants to yell at people and lecture them.
And nobody likes Jean Grey anymore. Nobody
Well, it's
liked
like-
her. She was
Yeah, it's like
better
old
off in a
Jean-
body bag.
Yeah, old Jean Grey was good.
She still had her moments.
Yeah,
She
I
just was
mean,
written
every character
better.
has moments at one point.
Well, I mean, like,
I mean, it's like with Wonder Woman. Like Wonder Woman has those constant moments where she's like, complaining about men and stuff.
she came from a island full of nothing but women, so of course
Yeah,
she's going to
but-
complain
but-
about
Well,
it.
also her
Woman-
creator was a cut. Also, her creator was a total cock.
Wonder Woman doesn't hate women. Or hate men. She just finds them annoying sometimes and gets in the way and becomes a burden.
Why do you
depends on
men
the writer.
always
It depends
have
on the
to
writer.
complicate things?
Yeah,
Because
she says
I
stuff
am
like-
super strong.
She says stuff like that, but she doesn't like act like men are idiots and not useful. It's just kind of like how she sees certain
It
things.
depends on what story, because she has done that before. She has.
I mean,
beat
they
You can
those
say that
jokes.
about anything, though. If I had to
Yeah.
say that about whatever, I could say, hey, man, you remember that issue where Spider-Man was a huge cuck? That's
Yeah,
Spider-Man now.
I've talked.
Okay,
I
I'm just saying-
usually look at the overall kind of main build of the character,
Yeah.
not some weird runoff or some.
What you mainly got to look at with this shit, and what a lot of people don't understand, and that's what's really going to be sad about it in a couple years. People aren't going to make movies about that time that Kurt complained about a hot dog. People aren't going to make a show about America.
Well, they're already making
her
a.
exploits.
They're already making a Miss Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Miss Marvel could work. Here's what I tell
I don't
everybody.
think her powers.
All
are,
of
her
these
powers are
characters
boring. She's not interesting.
Those powers could be dope as shit if they were done properly.
Just gonna
Any
Yeah.
power
punch
set
people
can
with
be
hands.
cool if done properly.
Does she even have any villains? She like have any competent and like villains that don't suck, or are they all giant chameleons running around on robot legs?
Yeah.
That was that
'cause
one issue.
Yeah,
That
but
was-
then
that was
there's
for
also
some
like
reason-
her character is literally based around the fact that she's a Muslim American who basically has to deal with, look how you have to be, you have to do more things than they do, and like, people are so bigoted. And so it's like that's literally your character and stuff.
Her first couple sets weren't too bad because I did
Yeah,
check them out when she first came out,
She
and
just
it's
runs.
like, there's actually some pretty good stuff here.
she
It was
runs
just
around
a
with her
teenage
diversity.
girl superhero, and I was like, you know what? That's fine. No big deal. You made a teenage girl superhero.
That was from before they gave her Jewel Wilson.
Gross.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at.
I don't-
You
I
can
don't
do a lot of things
Yeah.
with what these characters are. You can make Miss Marvel work. You can make Captain Marvel work.
Yeah, I
You can
don't.
make-
Yeah, see, I don't like.
Just have to do it right.
See, I don't like Miss Marvel mainly just because, like, in one of G. Wilson's storylines, she tried to flip the whole like rape crisis in Europe and make it seem like it was like the native population trying to rape Muslim women instead of it being the other way around. Something really stupid.
And that's dumb. And
Well,
that's
it is
why
really dumb. It's like disgusting. It's the equivalent. It's
exactly.
almost like the equivalent of taking a very serious issue and basically just intentionally deceiving people. Like, be like kind of like taking the Holocaust and trying to make it look like it's the other way around and stuff. It's like really disgusting.
It's that fake news, fam.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of all the legacy characters. I'm trying to sit here and go
I don't
down.
know.
'Cause,
I don't-
Ghost Rider is good.
I
care
don't,
what anybody says. I like Ghost Rider.
I don't have any faith. I think that they can make Captain Marvel work. I don't think they can make Miss Marvel work. I think her power set is too boring. It looks goofy.
I don't think they can make Miss Marvel work. Sorry, Captain Marvel work either. Because I mean, it just seems like
If they went back,
it's going to be a generic Superman. It's going to be like, I don't know. It's just going to look generic. To me.
if they went back to when she was, it's pretty much when she was Miss Marvel, and change her and call her Captain Marvel and stick that whole dynamic and let her turn into binary, and people would.
Ways to make
It would probably work. better
it's a
with
lot
that.
easier to make people like a character based on a movie.
Yeah,
It
but
really
she
is.
doesn't look. But she
Yeah,
doesn't look hot. She looks like
Ask,
they're
ask
good.
people how popular
Boys
Iron
on
Man was before Iron Man came out.
Reason this, yeah, but Iron Man has he doesn't come off as somebody who's just like a generic, boring character. I mean, he's just not as known at the time, but he's
Actually knew how
Yeah.
to write.
and his
But what I'm
his
getting
cool
at
little
is-
mech suit. But what's interesting really about Captain Marvel? She has the same powers as she has all the
used to be
generic
really big in the
superpowers.
jet planes and fast cars and all this other shit. She used to be like an adrenaline junkie.
and they're not going to do that with her.
Yeah, hey Florence.
You pretty much
Yeah.
could have been like, "Oh, I'm a human from the planet, and I got in a relationship with this alien, and now I'm like Superman, and I can go to space, and I used to love space.
Actually,
Oh shit, I gotta save the Earth from these aliens."
actually, Captain Marvel kind of, to me, she seems like a ripoff of Green Lantern.
Yeah, her whole backstory is
Sorta is.
Yeah,
She
that's what I'm
is
saying.
in concept.
Okay, I mean that's the thing is Captain. See, the problem with Captain Marvel is that she sounds like a ripoff of Green Lantern given Superman's powers, and it's like that's so. I do not see the appeal to her at all. Really, it's bland.
You can make a copy of a character and do it better, but I don't think it works very well with boring powers.
Yeah, but she doesn't. There's something interesting about her backstory. It's like
Superman's powers are boring, but people don't like Superman for his powers. People like him for his character. No one likes Captain Marvel.
Good example is Wonder Woman. It's like Wonder Woman was made as to be the female version of Superman. That's literally what the creator said about it. But again, because her backstory, the mythos is so different, that's what makes it interesting. Captain Marvel just seems like it's literally, okay, she's a woman, she's strong, she can fly. Here you go. There's like nothing that grabs me about that. And then like there was like that the Marvel Now like book that everyone was toting about. It's like literally she's just making a bunch of Star Wars jokes. And that to me is just so cringy. Because it's like, oh, look how we're trying to be relevant to geeky people and stuff by making Star Wars jokes.
Yeah, I know.
It's just so dumb.
The character's powers are, honestly, to me, they're very important of what the character can do, how they're going to be played in the situation. Even though obviously the character's personality and what they do is important, but I do think what they're capable of is important. But when you have
powers are definitely important because powers can be. Think of power. Powers are kind of like I wouldn't call it advertisement, but it's like a byline. You know, like powers are kind of help get you interested in the character.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be what the character's all based off of. It's like with the Immortal Men. Like Reload is a cool character because his power. Like one of the cool things about him is that his powers essentially is he does a weird thing with time manipulation. So when he shoots a single bullet, he creates like 100 bullets.
I need to read Immortal Men. I've been looking for it.
It looks pretty good, actually. I think it's going to be really good. So far, it's been a pretty entertaining book to read.
How many issues is there right now?
I think it's just on issue 2.
Maybe. I might have to order them in the mail or get them digitally. I can't find them anywhere.
Finally got my hands on issue 800 of Spider-Man. It came in the mail.
It's like $10.
It's got a nick in it, and I'm really upset about it.
Wait, what I was going to say is, I think powers are really important. That's one of the things, as you were talking about earlier, is My Hero Academia. I don't like most of the characters in there because the characters either get really good powers or they get trash ones, and most of the trash ones, there's only a few of them that end up being relevant.
Wow, that's isn't that kind of what the series was going for? To have basically, it's like everyone has superpowers. Some of the superpowers are really
it's like 80% of the world has superpowers, but you really get some of the characters get screwed over, and you have some trash.
Basically,
I think
the concept of that was the concept of that was pretty much, hey, everybody's got powers, but who wants to be a hero?
Well, My Hero Academia, kind of like with Naruto, is very like role play friendly because like I see a lot of My Hero Academia role plays on the role playing forum I'm part of, where you do like forum based role playing. Where
I went to
storylines.
I went to SoccerCon in Seattle 2 months ago, and that was like a third of the people there were in we were in academia role play.
Oh, you live in Seattle? I live in Seattle.
I live close, but like. Such easy costumes too, and like it was like everyone's like one of 4 people.
Well, I'm not. Well, most anime has a lot of easy.
Well, before that, it was. Remember, before that, it was all. What was it? Surveillance teams on Attack on Titan.
And before that, it was Hitalia. Hitalia was popular before that.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I already know that My Hero Academia is so popular. I don't like most of the characters. I don't like Deku as a main character at all.
I like him. I think he's a pretty.
He annoys me. I'm annoyed that he went on how he was going to be a superhero with no superpowers, and then immediately once he was dangled a superpower in front of his face, he decided to actually put in work. Do you read the side story, the Vigilante?
He was putting work before that.
He was just watching YouTube videos. He was like taking notes. He was just being a fan.
He was taking notes and stuff. Well, I mean, what are you supposed to do in high school?
He could have become like a Turtle Batman. He could have been a Superman kind of themed, like just a big smiley, like hope pressing character, but with Batman levels of skill and intelligence. But instead he did nothing, and until he got
incredibly well.
Instead, until he got a superpower dangled in front of his face, he didn't work hard, and now he doesn't do really anything intelligent. The only way he's like, all he does is to beat the villains is he punches them harder until it works.
But he does it in different ways, because the first time when he just punched things, it didn't work out.
He doesn't strategize that much. Do you read the spinoff, the Vigilante side story?
No.
Oh man, you should. That has the best character is this dude named Knuckle Duster who has no powers. And he's kind of like he's like a hobo Batman, and he's awesome. He just beats the shit out of people.
Wait, isn't My Hero Academia a Shonen Jump novel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing is in Shonen Jump, the characters, most of the main characters have very similar personalities to each other, where it's kind of like the kid who's the underdog who has to constantly punch his way through enemies.
Deku, though,
I like Deku.
Deku is way different in terms of most main shonen characters, because he was
an underdog still.
He was a bit of an underdog, but unlike practically every single other main shonen character, he was always portrayed as being very intelligent. He was very smart. He was very analytical. He planned and strategized. And then, as the series progresses, he does that less and less, and he just goes into punching harder.
Okay, he still does it. I'm caught up in the manga.
I haven't really he does it way less.
Yeah, but wait. But isn't but Fullmetal Alchemist is shonen, right?
I don't think it's Shonen Jump. It was a monthly.
Is it?
It was in Shonen.
It wasn't a Shonen. It wasn't in Weekly Shonen Jump though. It was I think it was one of their off magazines. I think.
Oh, okay.
It was a
what's his name? Yeah, like the main character. Isn't he smart too? I feel like there are.
Yeah, he is.
But he's not part of Shonen Jump. He's just a shonen. I don't even think he was in the same magazine.
No, he wasn't in Shonen. You're right.
One shonen character who is smart, but I get what you're saying. Like most shonen characters do tend to be like the what's the word? Innocent. Like they're like very innocent and naive, or like just not very intelligent.
Yeah, a lot of them are pretty dumb.
Midoriya is pretty good though.
He's pretty.
I like Midoriya because he started off wanting to do a thing. Even when he didn't have the powers, he wanted to do the thing. He almost died multiple times, even without powers. And then he gets them. And then
the main character in My Hero Academia's name is Baku.
It's Deku.
Deku. So
they call him Deku, and it means useless.
His solution things is punching things. That's his main solution in combat.
So he gets So let me.
He studies. He has like a. So what has like a notebook of everybody.
Hang on. So what kind of happened is 80% of the people in the world are born with superpowers. He was born in the 20% that doesn't have superpowers, and his like childhood rival kind of character was born with this really good power where he sweats nitroglycerin and he can make explosions. And that guy bullied him forever, and he was always around all these people that had pretty good powers, but he'd never had any, and it kind of just became a crutch to him. But he always talked about how he was going to be a superhero with no superpowers. And one day he
never talked about wanting to be one. He always wanted to know if he asked if you could be one.
He talked about it in the first issue. He said he wanted to. That was his thing, is he was going to use all his research and all his intelligence, because he was a huge superhero fanboy, so he would write down like everything he ever noticed about big heroes and big villains. And then
strategy thing.
Well, it could have easily played to his. That could have easily played to his whole thing. Is even though if he didn't have powers, if he had some form of skills that he developed, and then knew like how characters fought, he figured out weaknesses and like things that they did. It could have made him.
He still does that though. That's the thing.
He doesn't really do that anymore. He just hits.
Well, I mean, here's the thing about it. After a certain point,
let me finish his whole backstory. So he goes to his childhood rival guy gets kind of attacked by a villain, and then even though the main dude doesn't have powers, he goes to save him, and while he was completely screwed, the #1 hero in Japan shows up and rescues him. But the whole thing about him is he's like slowly losing his powers, and he has to pass it on to somebody. And so he ends up picking the main character to be his successor. And I think it was kind of a cheap cop out really quick, because later you find out there was another dude who was the original candidate who has all the same selfless hero traits that the main dude had, that Deku has, but for some reason he went and gave it to this guy he conveniently passed by on the streets, even though he already had someone he had picked over the course of a couple weeks.
He didn't pick that kid.
Yeah, he said Mirio was going to be his candidate until he met Deku.
No, he said it was a candidate, and he was going to.
And he was the perfect candidate. He had all the training already. He already had a perfect power that would have combined with his super strength would have made him unstoppable. And instead, he picked this random kid on the street who had no powers that he saw do something heroic once.
Well, that proves that Wall Might is a better hero than the original.
Wall Might is amazing.
Wall Might, yeah. He actually chooses Maiku.
Yeah, but Deku, even in the last fight, he fought somebody. So he runs into the normal shonen thing where the villain has some absurd, crazy power that you have no idea how they should fight.
Yeah.
Last big arc, he fought a dude who could atomically reconstruct things by touching them. And how he beat them was he got a big power up and was able just to blitz the guy and beat the crap out of him before he could even touch him.
Deku sounds like sounds a little bit like Gon from Hunter x Hunter, but Hunter x Hunter is very well put together in how they handle their action and the power system.
You
just keep running me along the rabbit hole. I hate Gon so much.
Whoa.
I have like a 6-year hatred for Gon.
Wait, you hate Gon from Hunter x Hunter?
Gon annoys the crap out of me. It's like watching a dog with the Down syndrome operate.
Wait, why do you hate Gon? What? Gon is awesome.
He
doesn't like One Piece either, so it's okay.
I don't like One Piece. One Piece though bothers me. It's hang on. We keep getting the only things I just like.
Sorry, do you like shonen at all?
I do, but the thing about My Hero Academia, it's not that I dislike My Hero Academia, it's I don't really like Deku. Like I love this. If you read the spin-offs, the Vigilante series.
So let me throw in. Yeah, let me throw in my Midoriya 2 cents here. All right, so you say that he was going to go meet the guy that he picked out. Yeah, it was his candidate, but that was not one he picked out. That was his sidekick who he never saw.
No,
his sidekick to hang out. No, his sidekick picked the guy and raised him up and was like, "I got a guy. He's perfect. He's going to be your successor because you're getting old and you're dying, and I'm not hanging out with you anymore because you can't be doing the superhero shit no more." And he's like, "I'm going to keep doing superhero stuff. I'll come look at the guy." And he eventually broke down and was like, "All right, I'll go see him." And on the way, then he met Midoriya. And then he saw how he acted. And he's like, "You know what? I'm going to go on my gut feeling on this one. I'm just going to do it." And his sidekick said, "You're an idiot. That's stupid. I can't believe you did that. I had the perfect candidate, and you picked this idiot."
Actually, he should have just gave it to freaking Night Eye, honestly. That dude was OP with a shitty superpower.
That nigga can't blink. What do you want?
That dude's power. That guy had like broken clairvoyance. He should have gave it super strength. Like Mirio with it would have been unstoppable.
He's getting old, and he didn't do the training, and he wanted a young vessel he could.
Mirio was perfect.
Here's young vessel he could prime up. Dude, that sounds so.
Hey man, that's what the fuck it is.
Let me put the two candidates out there. You have this kid who he did something heroic, but the other dude was just as heroic. And
here's the thing: you've got Pip Boy over here.
The dude
or
it would have
been Kid.
You would have had a combination of Kitty Pryde and the Hulk into one guy who could phase through attacks and then
punch somebody in the I got a good quirk for you guys. Here's it. Yeah. Okay, you touch a person and they immediately become a suicide bomber and blow themselves up.
There's pretty much somebody that does that, isn't there?
Really? Like what? They alter their mind moth makes them want to blow themselves up.
I know a few characters that pretty much. There's the dude from Full Metal Alchemist. There's a dude from Fairy Tail. And there's a chick from Bleach that all have that power.
Oh yeah, I forgot this from Bleach.
But
here's the other thing on the Midoriya shit, real quick.
Yeah, I think
Midoriya works because they show his progression. Everybody has powers. I don't have powers. I'm never gonna get powers. I acknowledge this fact that it's going to be heartbreakingly real that I will never get them. I will never be like Superman. I will never be one of those people. You have to have powers to do it. And then he confronts his his Superman, and he goes up to him and he's like, "Hey, can you still be a hero even if you don't have powers?" And he kind of gives him the truth about it. He's like, I mean, you can do heroic stuff, like you could be a cop or a fireman,
So
or something like that.
So the whole thing
And
on
then,
that
you
though
know,
is it's already
he
been
kind of shut him
debunked
down.
it's already been debunked in the series. Because Knuckle Duster, the side series is canon, and Knuckle Duster has no powers, and he's more heroic than most of the characters, other than like All Might. He's beaten supervillains just off of his being a badass old durable guy that fucking doesn't go down.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need to read the side series.
Okay.
Knuckle Duster is I think he's the best character.
But going off of Hunter x Hunter and stuff. So you don't like Gon because you think he's too naive.
I think he's a boring character personally. I think he's not.
Did you watch the series or did you just watch the recent series?
I read the whole manga. I don't find Gon very interesting.
But did you watch like the 1999 series?
No. The only part of Hunter x Hunter I was really happy reading was the Chimera Ants because I liked Miriam. I thought it was interesting.
Oh, but so you never watched the anime then?
I watched the new anime, but I read the manga. Do they do something different in the anime for the 90s?
Well, there's an old one, right, back in 1999.
Yeah.
Well, the old one I thought had a better soundtrack, and they also had a couple of good filler arcs that were pretty good too.
Do they do anything different with Gon? My problem with Gon is my problem with like Ash Ketchum. I don't find him interesting, and he goes on forever.
You can't compare Gon to Ash, man.
Ash is different. See, Gon is like all about he wants to find the third option. Like a lot of people try to force him into a single or two option way, but he wants to go for the third option. Where they ask him to kill someone, he says no, he can't kill someone.
I just don't find him interesting. I find him so
really
boring.
All right, guys. I actually got to head out for now, but I'll catch up with you later. It was fun.
I just don't find it fun. A good example. That's the thing with my partial is he works hard, but I find his personality stale. Whereas you get like Deku. Deku's personality is all right, but I don't like how everything kind of was very convenient to him.
Okay. So what's your opinion on Naruto then, as him as a main character?
Naruto, I thought was great until close to the third Shinobi. Is it third or fourth? The big war that took
the fifth one.
Fifth Shinobi War that took up a third of the series. Because Naruto was a huge underdog who put effort and hard work above.
So you didn't like the power playing where like all the three main characters like Sasuke and Naruto got huge.
No, power levels were not my problem. The fact that Naruto went from a kind of just some guy who went against everyone's expectations and worked really hard and got strong to a child of the prophecy who was eventually going to be amazing at some point.
Yeah. So you didn't like the whole idea that like him and Sasuke are the reincarnations of him?
No, I did not. I did not like that at all.
Okay.
Like they had such a good dynamic because that was the thing that made Naruto really stand out was the whole actual underdog story. It wasn't that he was. You get someone like Luffy who's dumb, as you got Naruto who just was incompetent.
Wow, some people those are fake. A lot of people love Luffy.
I could go on an hour-long rant of my hate for Luffy.
Like, what is wrong with Luffy? I mean, I actually like Luffy because I thought his character was kind of funny.
Luffy is incompetent in all aspects. He goes back on his own word and he ruins situations. Like, do you read the manga or do you watch the anime?
I only watched like the 4Kids dub anime.
Oh my god! So a good example is Luffy said that he's not a hero. He does not want to be called a hero, but all he does is go around saving cities and kingdoms and princesses. They just showed in the last one like all these royal families are meeting up, and he saved 3 princesses and 3 kingdoms from bad guys so far. He said he would quit being a pirate if someone ever spoiled if One Piece was real or not. Which at the end of the Marineford arc. Whitebeard, in his last breath, announced that One Piece was real. Yet Luffy's still being a pirate. He doesn't have character development. Everything that if you ever get caught back up, there's a time skip arc where all the characters go through like 2 years of training and then they all meet back up and they're all different. And like Usopp is not a pussy. Nami isn't a damsel in distress anymore. She becomes very relevant, very competent. Luffy has this whole mindset of he can't put his friends in danger the same way he's done before, and he needs to protect them, because I don't know if you know what happened in Marine Ford with his brother when Akainu turns him into a bracelet. But he instantly after that first arc out of the time skip, all that character development went right out the window. Usopp went back to being a pussy. Sanji, who was my favorite character in the series at the time, became 100% irrelevant. He went the ways of Chad of Bleach, where all he did was get in his relationship with the floor.
Oh well, Bleach is Bleach. That's not that good of a series. Like everyone says, it's Dragon Ball Z, but with big swords.
I loved Bleach, and then it went downhill. But
yeah, I never watched Bleach because I found that the fans were really assholes to Naruto.
Oh no,
fans.
yeah,
like
Bleach,
Naruto.
Bleach fans.
Yeah, Naruto and like Bleach had a huge feud with their fans.
There's a huge thing about the fans. Bleach fans are because Kubo doesn't really like comedy that much, and Bleach has very good art and tries to get a little bit and tries really hard to be deep sometimes. The Bleach fan base is very smug. Yeah. It's just like how if you argue with the One Piece fan base, they'll just bring up sales numbers.
Okay, yeah. Well, the thing the thing about Bleach is that's one thing is like, yeah, Ichigo, he is a shonen character that is not like any of the others.
Ichigo's problem is they made him to fucking Frankenstein, where he was literally every single character. Did you finish Bleach?
I never watched Bleach.
I will get to Bleach in a second, but let me finish One Piece. Is Luffy, who my favorite thing about Luffy was he was like a Swiss Army knife of fighting. He would always look for ways to use the environment and whatever situation he's in as advantage. And now he's become punch harder, and then if it doesn't work, punch harder again, and the story will cater to him. In the last arc, one of the members of his crew is this guy named Brook, who's a possessed skeleton, and he's actually really old. He's like 80 years old or something. And they go to this island because Sanji like vanished to go get married, and they're like, Luffy's like, oh, I have to have him on the team. I refuse to go further unless he's with us, which is douchey because you find out it was all a setup, but he didn't know that, so he was willing to screw over this dude who was like a 32-year-old virgin's life and his one chance to get chicks because he's so socially retarded around women. And he's going to ruin his only chance to ever fucking hook up with a woman because that Luffy is autistic.
Well, I mean, you also got to realize that what's his name who created One Piece, like kind of like with Naruto and Kishimoto, that both the creators basically said they were inspired off of Dragon Ball. So Luffy is kind of like Goku and stuff.
Luffy is a ripoff of Goku, but
yeah.
When they go to this island, this guy Brook, who's on their team, one of the things that helps them push together is they have to find this big stone slab to find that there's like 4 of them, and you have to connect all the information off of 4 of them to find where One Piece is. And so they go there, and this guy Brook immediately goes to where this slab is, and they ask him what he was doing, and he literally says that he knows that his team is not going to actually do anything important or what they need to do, and he had to go do it himself, or it was never going to get done. And you have a guy in your own series self-aware that your team is so terrible and so useless that unless you have the one guy who's an adult go and get stuff done, nothing will get done. And Luffy, I just don't find interesting. He doesn't develop as a character. The plot panders to him. He pissed off one of the 4 strongest pirates in the world, and that character went from being this apparent madhouse of how strong she was to being a joke, to where she was getting clowned by everybody in the art to a disgusting degree.
Wait, who is this?
So you the 4 pirate emperors? They had one is this character Big Mom, and she got clowned by practically every single character in the whole arc. She was getting like blitzed by people who should be nothing to her. She was getting literally pushed around. It was really sad and disgusting. Her whole crew were big letdowns. And there's the big fight for Luffy as he fights the second strongest person in Big Mom's crew, only number 2 to Big Mom. And it's this guy. He's like 46. He has this clairvoyant power, and it's his thing that he's amazing at. He's practiced his whole life, and it's just become the level to where he can see into the future slightly. And there's only a few people in the world that have it to this degree, and Luffy is able to get up to that level somehow in their fight within this like 15 chapter battle where he has been doing nothing but beating up Luffy and trashing him, and for some reason not just winning within the first 5 minutes. And they explain it is when you're like kind of like with Saiyans, how when you're close to death they'll get, and if they survive that near death experience, they'll get stronger. If you are like backed into a really dire situation, your Haki, the power that they have will get stronger. And Luffy was able to go from slight mind reading to being able to see into the future, which doesn't make sense because
how does he see into the future? Yeah, it's like I don't think
so. It's
fruit dome. What doesn't work like that?
So no, they developed a power called Haki, and there's like an
an
armor one.
Yeah.
There's one that you could read minds slightly, and then there's like this big like pretty much a willpower crush that knocks out fodder. But the one that you could
it's basically chi. It's essentially their equivalent of chi.
Sorta. But the one where you can read minds, there's only a few people in the world that have it so advanced that they can slightly see into the future. And the guy that you really see at first is the strongest child out of one of the 4 top pirates in the world. He's nearly 50, and he's focused his whole life around this dodging and counterattacking fighting style. And you had Luffy, who only learned about Haki 2 years ago, and somehow was able to close the gap by this cheat system to where he was backed into a corner and he was going to lose. So it force advanced itself. But in that whole thing is you have the guy he was fighting had never lost a fight in his whole life. He had never lost a fight. He should have also gotten that same cheat power up. He was also backed against the. What sounds more dire? You being the guy who's gonna lose. That's like, man, if I lose here, my goals aren't gonna be met. Versus the guy who's never lost a fight in his whole life, never tasted defeat, whose entire family is on the line for him to win here. And he doesn't somehow get that same power up. It doesn't make sense. I think that Luffy has become a living plot device who only wins because he's the main character.
And this was after he got the gears, right? Where like he's able to like make himself super strong and fast.
So yeah, the gears made sense, but the Haki doesn't make sense. And I actually had a conversation with somebody at work that explains the way that Luffy could have gotten the whole, because that Haki, it was just a power that they developed so you can hit the Logia fruit people, the people that could become intangible, because instead of finding the weaknesses to them, they're just like, let's just give you a power so you can do it anyway, which is stupid. But it went from just kind of being this power to where your limbs turn like pitch black. So eventually you just have characters who are just a midnight black with white eyes just fighting each other. And a way that someone explained it to me, it would have been better, is with Luffy's rubber, and the way that when he goes into his second gear, that his body like heats up to where it's steaming, is they could have turned it into like vulcanization, like you have with bowling balls, to where his punches could have just dealt way more damage. And I think would have made more sense, but instead you got this stupid power up that is extremely inconsistent. And I just don't like where Luffy's going as a character. I find it annoying. I think he only wins because he's the main character, really. I figured out One Piece's style so long ago, and I get a lot of flack from people that are One Piece fans that hear me complaining, and I try and explain the reasons why, and they just want to get mad and throw numbers everywhere. But I've never really been too fond of One Piece as a series. The series right now that's in Shonen Jump that I think is extremely underrated is Black Clover. Is you have a very similar style of shonen, but I think they handle things much better than a lot of their fellow shonen cohorts. I don't know if you've read or watched that at all.
Nah, I know where it's at.
So similar to where Deku was born with no superpowers, and he decided he was going to be a superhero with no superpowers, but didn't really do anything about it. is it's all this world of magic where the main character doesn't have any magic. He's the only person born like without any.
What's this called?
It's called Black Clover.
So is anything like Fairy Tale?
I mean, it's magic, but it's not the same. But if you like Fairy Tale, you probably like Black Clover.
Okay.
So the main dude does not have magic. He instead of similar to Deku, where all he did was kind of watch YouTube videos and write stuff down about people. Is the main character is this kid Asta, who, to compensate for his lack of magical abilities, did nothing but work out. It's literally if you made Rock Lee a main character. If Rock Lee became the lead, like you see people making fun of him for his lack of magic, but then like on the side he's doing like thousands of the first time you see him work out, he does 1,000 one-handed push-ups, like standing up. And he does nothing but work out all day. So later, when they go, I think it's this when they turn it's either 14 or 15, they go to get these grimoires or spell books, and it kind of has this layout where you'd think that it's kind of Naruto and Sasuke, like his rival is this calm, collected, cool, pretty boy who's very talented when it comes to magic and very skilled. And when they all go to get their these spell books, Asta does not get one, and his rival gets a special one because they're the out of the kingdoms they're in, they're the Clover Kingdom, and all their spell books have a 3-leaf clover on them. But he got a 4-leaf clover, which is a sign of great luck, and pretty much anybody who's had a 4-leaf clover has been extremely significant in their history and been very powerful. And when he walks out of there, and the main character tells him he's his rival and he's not going to let this get him down, the rival guy says that pretty much like, this is a bunch of bullshit, and then he like walks out. And while he's leaving, and you see the main character kind of lamenting on everything that happened, and people laughing at him and making fun of him that he thinks he's going to be something when he has no magical properties at all. And his rival gets ambushed by this guy who wants to steal his book, and I can't remember if he wanted to use it for his own means or he wanted to sell it. I think he was going to sell it, but he chains him up with these. Oh God! Did they catch you? No. They found your stash, but he. Oh, hello.
Well, I just muted myself.
Okay, so his rival gets like chained up in these. Kind of like in this binding spell that keeps him from using magic, and the main character goes to try and help him, and is immediately smacked around by this guy. But the guy, the villain, kind of like starts talking trash and telling him he's not gonna, even though he works hard and he's very determined, he's not gonna really get anywhere without his magic. And it's the first time it really kind of sinks into the dude, and he's starting to think that what everyone's telling him has been right, and that maybe he is destined to fail and will never amount to anything. But his rival actually at that point starts to talk shit at the villain, and you kind of see where it wasn't that his rival thought it was bullshit that he said that he was he was gonna keep up with him. Is he thought it was bullshit he didn't get the spell book, and he thought that didn't make sense because whereas you get kind of Naruto and Sasuke, where part with Naruto and Sasuke did not get along. Sasuke thought he was trash. He treated him like he was nothing, and he threw like tantrums when Naruto was catching up to him, and he would say like, "You don't deserve to be my rival." And that's kind of like how it is in My Hero Academia. Is the main character's rival has that similar thing, but in Black Clover, the rival has more faith and confidence in the main character than the main character has in himself. And I think that's a big standout thing for this series. Is you actually have
a friendly rivalry in this series.
Because they grew up. They don't. It's not like they're their schoolhood rivals. They grew up at the same orphanage, and they really feel like brothers. Like they interact with each other very well, and they have a very human relationship. And when they kind of talk to each other, it feels real. It's not like, it doesn't feel forced. Nothing about them feels forced. But the main character at that point is a spellbook ends up looking for him, and it's this black book, and it talks about how each of the leaves on the 3-leaf clover represents something. It's faith, love, and hope, or faith, love, and truth. And the fourth one, it stands for luck. But a fifth one like the pentagram is a symbol of Satan, and you see this big like ashy burnt black sword come out, and the main character it's given this power of anti-magic, and it's not really that he gets this he doesn't get this power that instantly makes him amazing, because it's really a tool. It doesn't change anything else about him. Like all his speed, his durability, his physical strength is they were all already there. Everything that he really has, he himself trained just out of trying to work around the system. And the only thing that comes to him that really is a plus is he has this tool that can dispel magic. And I think the series it does a lot of normal shonen tropes, but I think it handles them much better than a lot of other series. And I think if you like shonen, but you can see a lot of the things that usually happen, is you'll like this series then if you get all these normal tropes. But
you see, for me when it comes to anime, it's like the soundtrack can make or break an anime for me.
Oh my god,
that's what I love about Naruto. Like I love Naruto because the soundtrack is so excellent.
Black Clover has some of the best opening and ending like theme songs I've seen.
Oh, but like what about the soundtrack that plays during the anime? Because like Naruto,
it's pretty good. I don't think it is amazing, but it's had very consistent.
One of the reasons why I love the 1999 Hunter x Hunter series is the fact that the soundtrack was really good. Like it had a really diverse soundtrack of many different types of music playing, and really helped set the mood and scene for the show. And then like Naruto also has a really good one. And I love Dragon Ball Z, like the original English dub soundtrack by Bruce Faulkner, because that's. Yeah, I always loved that soundtrack, which is why I always watch Dragon Ball Z in the English dub rather than the original.
Yeah, but I think you'd like Black Clover if you like normal shonen stuff. Like the main character's cool. You actually can see why people end up respecting him. Like it's not like he kind of has the whole thing with like Naruto did, but it doesn't take forever for people to end up seeing that he's useful.
Well, in the Naruto, you gotta realize in the Naruto world, people there take a lot longer to get used to people. It's like you have to do something great for people to be convinced that you're not just a nuisance.
Well, I think that people should have been much nicer to Naruto right after he saved the village the first time against Gaara, but they didn't, and it wasn't until he saved everybody's ass with pain that everyone didn't treat him like shit anymore.
Well, I mean, people still liked him. He just wasn't universally beloved, kind of. It was kind of like, I think before the pain battle, I think it was 50-50, or maybe even 70% people liked him.
Yeah, it progressed, but after that point is when everyone started kind of.
What I like about Naruto is I feel like Kishimoto is really good at coming up with characters. Like he creates a lot of really interesting characters. Just the one problem is that the characters who get the little screen time tend to be the characters that people want to see the most of compared to the main cast.
They killed off any screen time for all the people that they built up at the end of part one. At the end of part one, like Rock Lee doesn't get to do shit after part one.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like when Rock Lee in the Chunin exams is still my favorite arc in all the Naruto series.
Oh yeah, Rock Lee's fights are awesome. I love Rock Lee.
Oh yeah, Rock Lee was great. And then like I liked Gaara's story arc in part one. Part two, I kind of didn't like how they kind of deconstructed his tragic backstory.
Yeah, and they had to turn it into it was a good thing. So everyone, so you didn't think his mom was a bitch, and you think his dad was bad. It turned into you should feel bad for him, but he's good now.
Yeah.
And I think that was a problem.
I like the idea on how his mom hated the village and died cursing them, and yet his dad was basically wanting to use him as a living weapon. But despite all this hardship, he still comes back because Naruto is another host of a tail beast like him and stuff. I mean, yes, it's kind of a talk no jutsu, but I just thought that made it more meaningful that he's able to come back from such hardships. I think they kind of turn into like, oh, here's a new plot twist.
I agree. I think Kishimoto is very good at characters, but I don't think he's good at female characters. His female characters generally suck. Like Sakura is one of the worst.
Sakura isn't that. I mean, Sakura isn't great, but I think like his other his villain female characters are good. Like the non-main female characters are good. Like I think Conan, it was a good character.
I liked her as well. But Kaguya ended up just kind of being this out of nowhere Deus Ex character.
Okay, Okay, I think like the problem with Kishimoto is I think Kishimoto does plot twists not very good. I think that's his weakness is to try and basically, come up with a plot twist and the unexpected. But his ideas and characters are great. I just think that
what is funny is he only brought in Kaguya because he admitted that he had no idea how they were going to beat Madara. He made Madara
because he was so powerful.
But then to beat him, he brought in somebody who was way stronger, and then had that way stronger person waste all of her energy teleporting people around.
Okay. I liked what they did with Madara, but I would have actually preferred if the finale of the series was like, okay, they beat Pain, but they still had to find Nagato, the original, and he's basically in his prime still. So they have to fight a guy who can use all ninjutsu and stuff. So it's not like crazy like Madara in his like Sage of Six Path form, but still is a guy who basically can use all of the passive pain along with every single elemental type of ninjutsu of chakra.
I wish that he didn't change Sasuke's like goals and intentions every 15 minutes.
Yeah, that was kind of dumb too and stuff. Like I feel like I'm one of the people I did have a problem with the whole Uchiha obsession of part 2. Like I would have liked it if part 2 had focused on the entire tailed beast as a whole, like all the Jinchuriki, because we only got to see, like, when you include filler, I think we only got to see 4, because I know, like, you have Killer Bee, Naruto, Gaara, and what's his name who has the slug beast.
Yeah,
he was in a filler. Then that was pretty much in.
Yeah, you barely get to see any of them do anything.
Yeah, so I thought it would be kind of cool if they had if they had part 2 focused on the Jinchuriki instead of like being so Uchiha oriented.
Yeah, I think they really dropped the ball on that. And then what kind of confused me is they talked about how the Hyuga were bigger than the Uchiha, and that their bloodline trait was better, but you never really saw anything about that. They constantly talked about how it was a superior ability, and then they just kind of glossed over it. Like, guess what?
Well, Kaguya does have a Byakugan.
But yeah, because they're both
Otsutsuki.
They're both runoffs of the Rinnegan of the original one.
Well, I think the Byakugan is like an Otsutsuki ability, whereas the Sharingan is like it's not connected to the Rinnegan, but it's like the Sharingan is is the thing that the Sage's Sixth Path and Kaguya had specifically.
I think he dropped the ball pretty hard at the end of the series.
I can get that.
Like the Naruto versus Sasuke final fight was too short. It wasn't that epic. It felt really small in comparison to everything else that was happening. I think it really should have came down to a war between the two of them instead of just they have a scuffle at the end of the battle.
Yeah, I can get that stuff. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like part 1 was great. Like I thought that was really great. I just feel like part 2 I would have done a little differently. Like I like the original idea for the Akatsuki's plan, where their original idea was to basically manufacture war to basically control the world through global economics, and then they kind of changed that to basically, I want to basically control the world through like the Eye of the Moon plan.
That would have been a weird thing to succeed with.
What, Eye of the Moon?
Yeah, then you just have a bunch of people. You just have a planet of guys like asleep connected to trees.
I know. I thought that was kind of lame and stuff. But like I said, the original idea behind the Akatsuki I thought was much better. Where it's like, we're basically an organization that's basically causing you to go to war so we can take control of you because your economy is based upon war.
I'm curious what they're gonna do in the old Burrito series with these husk guys. Akatsuki 2.0.
I'm not up to date on Boruto. I only watched up until that little land Village of Mist arc and stuff.
The anime, a lot of the stuff in the anime is not connected to the manga. They're their own. I think they're both pretty much eventually leading towards the same thing. But the whole the Chunin exams in the anime is its own arc. Whereas in the manga, it was real quick and real short, and then it ended. But they have these guys who's pretty much Akatsuki 2.0.
Okay, because one of people's complaints about the Boruto anime is that it just seems like there's no real stakes. It's like there's no stakes and stuff. There's not such danger. Like in part 1, the world was a lot darker in Naruto.
Somebody compared. I remember seeing a picture where somebody compared. It was like episode 32 or something of each, where it was like the episode where Sasuke's like ripping that sound dude's arms out of the sockets, and then the 32 episode of Burrito is him and his sister like drawing pictures on a wall or some shit.
Yeah,
that was pretty funny. I'm not a huge fan of Burrito, but I don't dislike it.
Well, the weird thing about it is that there's not very many stakes, but the characters are more powerful compared to their originals. Like, like Boruto already apparently knows like both wind and lightning chakra. Like he knows 2 chakra natures basically.
Yeah,
even though at his Naruto's point, Naruto didn't know any chakra nature elements.
That's because he trains under Sasuke, and Sasuke knows everything apparently.
He trains under Sasuke. I thought Sasuke's like gone. Oh, okay. In the anime, at least he's gone all the time.
Naruto trains or Burrito trains under Sasuke, which is pretty funny that Sasuke spends more time with his kid than he spends with his own kid, or Naruto spends with his own kid.
Well, the one thing I do find interesting about Boruto is that Boruto kind of doesn't like Naruto because he doesn't. Yeah, because Naruto is always working and stuff, and he hates that stuff. So I thought that was kind of an interesting idea and stuff. Yeah, and he hates being the idea of being the Hokage.
I don't get how Naruto could ever have any problems with that. The dude can make 1,000 clones. He can make 10. Just have them all do different stuff. He should be fine, but he doesn't.
I guess not.
I don't know. I think some of the big plot points that happen that kind of Burrito centers around should easily not exist. Like Naruto should be able to create 10 clones and just be able to be everywhere at once, and have and be able to get through a lot of these problems. But instead, he's confined to a desk. I don't get it.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, let's say this. I feel like in the Naruto anime, I just feel like Kishimoto had a lot of great ideas and made some really awesome and cool characters. It's just I feel like he sometimes didn't know what to do with them, and when he tried to make plot twists, it just didn't go right.
Yeah, I get you.
It's like Kimimaro. Like Kimimaro was a great character, but he killed them off so quickly.
I'm still mad they did that.
And his powers were great. Like his power was awesome. Like
Kimimaro's entire design was great.
Yeah. And then Deidara, like he killed off Deidara, even though Deidara was like definitely one of those characters that should have lasted longer. I thought he was great. And then
he was a big fan favorite too.
Oh yeah, no, he was really popular. And then I know like I get that he wanted to mix it up, but I liked original Toby when he was just a joker.
Yeah, and then that actually when it was revealed who he was, like forums all over the internet crashed because everyone was furious.
Oh, you mean when they turned out he was Obito? Because like everyone was predicting, because when he first appeared, everyone was saying he's Obito, and the people were saying, "Nah, that can't be true." And then it's almost like he went with what the crowd was rumoring about, basically.
What's funny is
I was surprised, yeah.
Legitimately forums crashed because everyone was like rage posting how stupid it was that he actually was Obito.
Oh,
which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, okay. What did you think about it? Because
I was like, man, whatever, okay.
It's kind of the obvious choice and stuff, but yeah.
My investment in Naruto died when I got to that last Ninja War, and I was just kind of ready to get out at that point. Something that bothered me is Naruto started to get really cool, and his abilities started to get really good, and then he got that kind of like golden layered chakra form. Yeah, and he was not the full one, the one right before it. And he was like,
it's called the chakra cloak.
And he had like he could make like claws. He could make 9 claws like the 9 tails, and they could each make Rasengans. And he was having like mini Rasen shurikens, and he was dropping all these crazy new techniques and how cool it was. And then he got that like chakra Hokage cloak, and he was just throwing around Biju bombs all the time. That's all he ever did.
Yeah, see, the thing about Naruto is I feel like with part 2, it's like they went from classic Naruto combat, which is like, oh yeah, you have powers, but you have to figure out, it's like okay, a good example of combat in Naruto is essentially like Shikamaru versus like Tamari. He literally uses the hole that Naruto made to beat Neji to extend his shadow to catch her in it. Like that's Naruto combat right there, where you have to
power levels.
You have to outsmart your opponent and stuff. But in part 2, it's literally like, okay, I'm gonna show you this massive explosion or like super powerful technique that's going to own you and stuff. It's literally like, what's the word? What's the word called? It's called darn, what do they call it? There's a term for it, but I forgot the term.
It just became power escalation for the sake of power escalation.
Yes, it's like watching Dragon Ball Z, where it's like, oh, I'm going to pull off an even more powerful technique.
Dragon Ball though has gotten really lazy, and that's why I don't like Super, but I'm excited to watch this Dragon Ball Heroes new show that they're doing. I'm gonna watch the shit out of that.
Wait, Dragon Ball Heroes is getting a show?
Yeah, they're getting an anime.
Oh,
see that? I'm gonna watch that.
I have to watch that shit because
they got Super Saiyan 4. I'm excited.
Oh wait, so did you but it's based off the game, right? Like where it's like that kid gets transported into the Dragon Ball world from the video game.
They're doing a prison planet as like I think the first arc.
Oh, okay, I have to check that out because I remember watching the trailers for Dragon Ball Heroes when it first came out. People thought it was a new series, but it turned out to be a game. But yeah, everyone said that would make an awesome Dragon Ball series where it's like, oh yeah, they're doing the real world.
Dragon Ball Super though, it's like the designs are really lazy, and all they do now is they don't even show bigger explosions. It's like, well, this guy's more powerful, so he's hitting.
Did you ever read Dragon Ball Z Multiverse?
I read it a few years ago.
Basically, when I saw Dragon Ball Super, it looks it's basically just Dragon Ball Multiverse, but not as good. Like Dragon Ball Multiverse to me felt a lot more like a Dragon Ball series than Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, so the thing about Dragon Ball Super is like the designs. It takes them 5 minutes. They just MS Paint, like fill a character with a different color, and like, well, there's a new form. Like it used to be that it looked like each Super Saiyan transformation was leading somewhere, like it was going somewhere, and then you got Super Saiyan 4 where he just looked primal, and it looked just like this merging of the Great Ape and Super Saiyan, and it looked like you were getting
and then Super Saiyan God is essentially it's essentially just Goku colored red.
It's Kaioken with Super Saiyan God was Kaioken with glitter.
Yeah,
and it didn't make sense because they established that the blue one is going Super Saiyan while the Super Saiyan God powers up. So it's established that Super Saiyan and the God form are not the same power. So I don't get why it was just not called Saiyan God, and then the blue arrow was just called Super Saiyan God, and now they just do different colors. And then Ultra Instinct is a different power, so Goku should be able to logically go Ultra Instinct, Super Saiyan plus God plus Kaioken.
Yeah, it's just
that's what I like more about Super Saiyan 4.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, it's just getting crazy and stuff. It's like that's one of the things I like about Dragon Ball Z Multiverse was that they didn't seem to introduce any really new forms. They just introduced some new and interesting characters and used the multiverse. Yeah, the multiverse aspect for them to meet all these different characters in their scenarios. Like I love that those characters from the planet Tuffle or whatever, who use advanced technology to fight
robot people.
Well, not the robot. They use cybernetics advanced technology. I thought that was awesome.
Tech people.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
They like baby and that was cool. I like that. And I thought Omega Shenron was the perfect villain to end Dragon Ball. I thought he was the perfect idea of he exists because of everybody's stupid, selfish, dumb wishes that spawned this negative person of like.
Yeah, I was like the cool idea of how in Dragon Ball Z Multiverse they kind of show that when the Saiyans survive, they are not as strong as they would be after they die. You know.
Yeah, I don't like Super. Super, I think, is very lazy.
Oh well, this wasn't Super. This was Multiverse.
I know. That's what I was saying. So that's what I liked about. I think they had better ideas in the Multiverse one.
Oh yeah,
the Super Namekian after he all of them fused into one person.
Oh yeah, that was cool. And then like they do the same thing with Super Buu where he like has absorbed everyone. And then there's the one where Vegito hasn't defused. So there's actually there actually is like a backstory. They released a backstory for the webcomic about like what happened in Vegito's life when after the whole killing Buu saga. So basically, apparently he gets into like. He has to decide who he's going to stay with, whether it's Chi-Chi or Bulma, and that because Vegeta doesn't like Chi-Chi, does like Chi-Chi, but both Goku and Vegeta like Bulma, he decides that he's in love with Bulma more. So he basically has an estranged relationship with Gohan and Goten because of that.
It's pretty funny, yeah.
And then of course he has a daughter, Bra, who's like a lot more powerful than Bola from like the original timeline.
Yeah, the multiverse one I think is much more thought out and much better planned. Whereas in Super now they just slap on a higher power level and have them fight. And now they're going to run into the problem where they're going to fight somebody really powerful. What are they going to do? And it's not this. Maybe they'll figure something out, or the main character will show a new power up. But now it's Goku could go Super Saiyan 5 Ultra Instinct Kaioken times 20 fuse with Vegeta, and then make a copy. Those two fuse together, and they create the Super Mega Fusion Hacks.
Yeah, I hate how
just stack powers on top of each other.
I hate what they did with Future Trunks, where it's like he was supposed to have like Dragon Ball Z ended with him having a happy ending. His arc, it was a good ending in the arc, and then they had to bring him back and kind of screw things over.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. I don't get it. And then now their also power levels are absurdly inconsistent in Super. They have Master Roshi fighting in this tournament. How his power level is like 130.
Yeah, see, that's one of the things I like about role playing is on the role playing side I'm a part of there are several Dragon Ball Z role plays, and what we did was we determined that from the get-go is that humans can increase in power relative to like Saiyans. They don't have the Zenkai boost, but they can train to get more powerful, so humans aren't useless. It's just they have their own kind of special transformations and niches, whereas the Saiyans have Super Saiyan, humans have something else. Like I create a character basically.
What do the humans have?
What?
What do the humans have?
It depends on the character. Like humans have more variety if they have a transformation. Like with my character, his transformation was essentially basically getting in tune with like the ocean, so he could like create and manipulate water and like freeze things, kind of like water bending. But he also was able to like mix his energy along with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. And then one human, like their speciality was basically either magic or like being able to do all these like flashy, flamboyant attacks.
Yeah, I get you.
So it's like Saiyans basically, I think we determined that Saiyans can increase in power quicker than humans, but humans have like more variety and can like learn more wackier techniques.
Yeah. I think Shonen is starting to really fall too much of the schedule.
You mean are too formulaic?
Yeah, that's one of the things I like more about Black Clover. Black Clover starts to take the idea of a normal shonen kind of layout, but make it weirdly different. Like all of the humans are being revealed to actually have been the problem and the issue with like this big war, and the people that were
I was just saying it's like, well, unlike SJW Marvel, if it's selling money, they aren't gonna change it and stuff.
Yeah. It's you can get good fine shonen stuff, but I think it's it's getting too. A lot of them are getting too standard running.
Well, it's kind of interesting because it seems like that's actually interesting because I know like for a while, like from like 2008 or 2009, there was kind of a low period where a lot of the anime was kind of generic and people kind of left it a bit. But then it seems like recently with One Punch Man and My Hero Academia and like Dragon Ball Super, people were starting to get back into anime more.
I haven't dropped out. I've been here. I've been trucking my way through all the cringe and any of the problems.
Yeah, I watched this thing. Thanks to some friends, I watched this old anime called that was about dogs. I think it's called Gingero no Shigin. It's a very long name, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that? It's like it came out in the 80s.
I haven't heard of that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I might link it to you sometime, but it's basically like an 80s anime about dogs as they're trying to fight off these wild bears in this mountain range that are killing people. It's really violent, but it's pretty entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the problems I think is funny that I don't believe a lot of these SJWs actually like anime or manga, because most of the popular ones wouldn't really fit their bill.
I think either it's just they like cosplaying as the characters, or it's just the fact that because the Japanese are people of color, it doesn't count. It's kind of like how SJWs never really go after gangster rappers, like rappers, despite their inflammatory lyrics. But they just, again, they don't.
They only want to harass white people.
Yeah, So I think it just has to do with intersectionality that they don't go after anime.
Probably.
I mean, they tried to at one point, but then the Japanese told them to get fucked and stuff.
Yeah, they don't care. What's funny is I have a long time agreement that I get annoyed with the magazine Weekly Shonen Jump that all the women pretty much fall into support roles. That's one of the things the support roles, like every girl in Naruto pretty much turns into a healer. None of the women really in Dragon Ball are relevant.
Wait, are you saying you're a feminist?
No, no. I just thought it was annoying when you get a cool character design and then they become shitty.
Well,
like did you?
I hate to quote biology, but I think that biology says that's kind of.
Whoa, it's different when you have superpowers.
I know, I'm just joking, but again, to quote like the hardcore MGTOW people, that is technically culture.
You said you didn't know Bleach.
Well, I never watched Bleach. I just remember getting into a huge amount of arguments when I was like Naruto.
Did you ever see who Kenpachi is?
What does he look like? I probably have.
He's the spiked hair and the eye patch. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, I've seen that guy. I never watched it, but yeah.
Black Clover has a similar character, and she's an absolute psychopath. She's like that fused with Natsu from Fairy Tail, and she just likes to beat the shit out of people.
Wait, Nazi from Fairy Tail?
Natsu, the main character, the Dragon Slayer.
Natsu. Okay, I thought you said Nazi.
If you can imagine him, but as a chick and a psychopath, but a good guy. Like she just likes to beat the shit out of people.
Well, also got realize the thing about shonen is that shonen is geared towards young boys. So the girls could have roles, but again, the boys take center stage. Like that's what shoujo and the other more girl centric magazines are for. So in Japan, unlike in America, Japan likes to divide things up based upon specific groups.
Yeah, but
we're in America, we're not like that.
Though how passionate nerds are when it comes to like arguing who the best girl is and who their waifus are.
Wait, what?
You've never even gotten in an argument like that, like seeing like how angry people will get when they talk.
Well, waifus about eye candy and like how hot they are, not really about are they contributing to the storyline.
But it's not just how hot they are. It also comes down to stuff they do. You could run a carrot. You could run a.
Well, then I forgot. Then I misunderstood what waifu is. I was saying that waifu was like who would you like to get in bed with?
Yeah.
I think most waifu
origin term, but it becomes a lot bigger of a thing. Like it's a big nerd thing to do.
Okay.
Like it's one of the biggest like things that you'll ever see like guys on the internet flame each other over is like if you tell a dude his waifu's trash and they just get into a blood argument. I always thought that was pretty funny.
Well, also the thing about Sakura has flat tits, so no one wants her.
The thing about Sakura though, she's boring. She's so bland.
The other thing about Sakura is like your very typical feminist character in the fact that like literally her power is that she's good at punching things. And that's your typical feminist character. You look at most feminist characters, most feminists will say that the type of character they want is a girl who doesn't have cleavage, isn't too sexual, and can like has superhuman strength, so she can.
I'm gonna show you this girl I'm talking about from Black Clover later. She's one of the only combat mages in the series, and wherever most people are spellcasters, and she's just a straight brawler, but she's badass. So.
But isn't there also in Fairy Tail? Isn't that one girl who can summon weapons? Like she's supposed to be a badass too.
She is, but there's this like 1 out of 3 mages end up being like combat mages, but there's only a couple in Black Clover. Being a combat mage is very standout. Most people are ranged and like strategic fighters.
Okay.
This chick is like giving superpowers to a wild animal.
Yeah. Well, I guess you would agree that Sakura in the sense is kind of like basically your typical feminist character.
Yeah,
she's like your typical feminist character. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, she's very boring and annoying. I don't like her. But I agree.
I will say that she has her good moments. I mean, like I feel like if they had given her a more interesting power, then it would have been better. I just feel like Kishimoto for some reason didn't know what to give her, and then he turned her into a medical ninja, which was interesting, but I don't know.
I'm gonna send you a picture of this.
I mean, Tsunade is pretty interesting too.
Tsunade had potential, and then she kind of just fell behind.
But I mean, she still had the boobs though.
Yeah. But her one chance at being relevant was
another great character was Jiraiya. Jiraiya was awesome.
Yeah, everyone likes Jiraiya. Everyone likes Jiraiya except for Kishimoto.
What do you mean? I think. Wait.
You didn't. So do you know? So do you know about his actual dislike of Naruto?
No. Wait, he doesn't like Naruto?
No, he doesn't like his own series.
He doesn't like the series, or he doesn't like the character?
He doesn't like the series. There was recently he went to a con and someone asked him to draw Jiraiya and he forgot what he looked like.
Oh, I mean, I knew he got bored with it. Like
the whole funny thing about Kishimoto is he didn't want to do a shonen. He wanted to do a seinen. He wanted to write about this money hungry, super greedy member of the mafia named Mario. And when he pitched it originally, they told him no, but they gave him the kind of idea of doing like a shonen, and then he kind of came up with Naruto. That's why if you read the one shot of Naruto, he gets tangled up with the mob, and then they had him change that when the series came out. But after he finished the series,
I heard that Naruto was originally about wizards, but they changed it because they thought it'd be too like Harry Potter.
Naruto originally was the son of the nine-tailed fox, and he got caught up in gang wars for his ninja ability. It was kind of this mix of ninjas and the mafia.
Oh yeah, you mean Yakuza?
Yeah. Well, no, it was the Italian mob.
Oh, it was the Italian mob, really?
Yeah, he's like super into the Italian mob for some reason. But after he finished Naruto, because originally he said he was done with Naruto, there was going to be nothing more of this series. It was done. And then he did the one shot for the series Mario, and nobody liked it. He thought he was going to be fine. He thought his following was going to instantly cling on to it because his name was on there, and they just asked him for more Naruto. That's why he gave his head assistant Burrito and said that the first thing he wants him to do is kill off Naruto and Sasuke.
Okay.
He's actually very spiteful towards his own series, which is crazy.
I mean, it makes sense because he wants to do other things. You know, I mean, again, as an artist, you kind of want to do other things, and when people keep, when people keep saying you have to do this, it gets annoying. It's like with Akira Toriyama. Like Akira Toriyama has forgotten certain characters because he just, I don't know, he wanted to focus on other things. It's kind of like with Launch. Like Launch was forgotten about because he actually forgot that she was a character, which is why she doesn't appear in like DBZ. And then apparently, the reason why Goten and Trunks don't have tails is because he found tails to be very annoying to draw.
It's like two swerves. Come on.
I know, but to him, apparently it was very annoying. So yeah, I mean, and I think at his age, I don't think he can do it really anymore because
he doesn't need to. He just tells people what to do. Like, have you looked into like the storyboard of how they do episodes and chapters of Dragon Ball now? Is they go in and he tells them stuff that has to get done, and then he leaves in like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah,
that's why
the one thing I hated about this whole new continuity of Super is that with that manga that he released called I think Dragon Ball Z Minus or whatever. They basically made Bardock the father of Goku non-canon, which sucked because that was arguably the best Dragon Ball movie.
Bardock is probably the best Dragon Ball character, period.
Yeah, but you saw his movie, right? Bardock the father of Goku?
Yeah, Bardock.
Yeah, that was made non-canon because of Dragon Ball Minus, which showed his mother. But it's that just sucked because Bardock the father of Goku was amazing.
Bardock was a badass. Bardock should have been the freaking main character. He was awesome.
Yeah, he was interesting. And then they did that whole Bardock, the stories, where it's like apparently travels back in time. It's like that. That was just stupid right there.
Yeah. Well, originally Gohan was supposed to become the main character, but nobody wanted that to happen. That's why Goku ended up becoming the main character But he wanted to finish the series multiple times and then just didn't.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like how that's one of the reasons why in Dragon Ball Heroes, Dragon Ball Z Heroes, Bardock appears a lot in the games because again, people they know that Bardock with Broly are huge money makers. Even though they haven't appeared in the anime, we haven't been resurrected for the anime, but yeah,
they need to bring back Broly.
Oh yeah, because then they tease. I hated that tease in Super where it's they have the female Broly.
The new characters in the new characters in Super are pretty bland. I don't care for them. I like
Broly, they have Saiyan characters who are good guys from another universe and stuff.
Who somehow got the gap of Super Saiyan nothing and then can somehow compete in like a week because somebody explains Super Saiyan to them and then they can just do it. That was stupid. That was so
I know
stupid.
it's like worse. It's like back in the Cell and Boo arc. They had the hyperbolic time chamber, which was basically that plot device to try and get the character stronger within like hours.
I think the hyperbolic. I feel like the hyperbolic time chamber existed before that, but I don't know.
I think it did, but
I
it
think
wasn't
existed
used.
in. I think
It wasn't
Dragon
until the
Ball.
Cell arc that they used it to train though, like the Cell arc.
I think he would. I think Goku went into it once in the part 1 back in like early Dragon Ball, but I don't know. I'm quoting me on that. I don't know though.
That is it. Okay, that's interesting. But all I know is, the Cell
think.
arc, they use it to train, and they get really strong. And then it appears back in the Boo arc where they train, where Goten and Trunks train, and
they
that's
don't
when they
use
learn
it.
to get Super Saiyan 3.
And yet they don't use it ever again
Well,
after the Boo arc.
that's because the door got blown.
They could fix it.
Could they fix it? I'm not sure if it was fixable.
They hang out with all these you hang out like the God of Destruction and all these people and all these Kais and angels. They know they could figure it out. Come on.
Yeah, so I mean,
they could just get the Dragon Balls.
So when we came to Dragon Ball Z, did you prefer it when they were going for more sci-fi, or do you like it when they went for more fantasy when the Boo arc came around?
I preferred everything up to the Frieza arc. I was fine with, and then everything after that I did not like.
Whoa. You did not like the Frieza arc?
No, everything up to Frieza, because that's where he was going to end the series originally. Like Frieza is where the series I think should have ended.
Okay, but so you like the Frieza arc, like the giant battle on Namek?
Yeah, that was cool.
But
you didn't
like the android and Cell arc?
I mean, they were fine, but they felt like they didn't need to exist. I think ending it with Frieza was a really high point.
Okay, but again, what about Trunks? Like Trunks had such a great entrance into the series.
Because Trunks was cool, but that's when power levels started to get stupid.
I feel like the Android and Cell arc, the power levels were still manageable, but I think the Boo arc is when it gets a little crazy.
You had this guy who was a Saiyan who showed up that trashed Final Form Frieza, trashed his dad. You had TN somehow holding down second form Cell.
Well, he has a special ability though. Like I think, TN, it's implied that his ability is different from your typical key ability.
Shouldn't have been able to do that. Come on.
But he doesn't. But he wasn't able to kill him. He was just able to hold him off for a second.
He just held. He shouldn't have even been able to hold him down. Even TN all out.
I mean, again, but see, the one thing I did like about Dragon Ball Z is they did make the human characters useless. So I actually kind of like that they was able to give the human characters something to do.
Yeah, but then they just ended up being, hey, we're going to fight generic Cell Juniors. Something that I think that Dragon Ball.
We gotta give them something to do.
Something I think that I much prefer about most other shonen is when you get into an arc, you have like the main bad guy that the main character will fight, and then there's always a handful of lesser ones that the other characters will fight. Yeah. But with Dragon Ball, it's like you had the Cybermen and you had like Cell Juniors, and they were just fighting nobodies, and the characters, it's really just the main bad guy. Like the whole Black arc, Black Goku, it was just him. He had no henchmen. He had no like subgroup. There was nothing for the other characters to do. It was just for the main character to fight the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like
what do you think, Florence?
Oh, what?
I forgot he was here. He's been very quiet.
Yeah. What do you think, Florence, about like how Dragon Ball Z is put together?
Personally, when I kind of looked back on it while watching Dragon Ball Z, I actually kind of did immediately realize that they stole, well, not stole, but ripped off Superman's origin with Goku. But personally, I don't really mind it.
Yeah, I did notice that too. Eventually, where it's like,
it's like Superman, but it's a little bit different, so it's not a big deal. But
yeah,
I think Goku got boring because he hasn't developed as a character really since like the 90s.
He's kind of a retard, kind of like I heard in Dragon Ball Z Super, he gets even more stupid.
Yeah, they made him dumber. I think so. What I think they should do with Super is they should finish Super off. All right, they should finish Super off and focus on a whole different cast, and so they don't have to have ridiculous power level inflation, and they could just have like to where Goku and Vegeta and all these guys are just like whispered legends, and kind of do like a next gen to where anytime that these other characters show up, you know it's shit's going down. It's gonna be a big deal because that's where I think. Do you watch Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, I watched Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah,
I guess Yu-Gi-Oh. I still watch the show because they change out the whole cast every 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, you're talking about. So you're referring to GT, right? Because I watched like GT, like I watched the original Yu-Gi-Oh, but I think the best after that was GT.
GX.
Sorry, GX. Sorry, not GT.
Yeah, because they're on their 6th series now. They're the 6th one, and each one they have a whole new cast of characters. They change it out.
Yeah, I never watched any of the other series. I just watched GX.
They're good, but the 4th one is not good. But the other
fourth one.
4th one is Zexal when it does like aliens and stuff.
Okay, yeah, that.
The 5th one is cool.
Good.
The 5th one is cool. They do like this big dimensional war.
Okay. Yes, I like GX because GX kind of like
GX felt like a straight sequel. And that's what made it.
What I like about GX is like unlike like with Yu-Gi-Oh, like with the original cast of characters, it started to get really wacky and crazy with the whole the Egyptian past lives and all the magic and stuff.
Well, they explain stuff.
Back to the basics.
Yeah, for season 1, and then Jaden became the reincarnated like King of Darkness, and he was being stalked by his demon girlfriend that wanted to murder everyone that looked at him funny.
Yeah, I get that, but I feel like in GX was still. I think GX was still. I feel like GX wasn't still as far out there, whereas
I love Yu-Gi-Oh when it goes over the top, because when they go over the top, you have no idea where they're gonna go.
But they don't follow the rules of the game. Like GX followed the rules of the game better.
Yeah, and like season 1. They dueled way more, and they dueled way more in the original. Like duels lasted a long time. Like you don't get Series 1 duels are ridiculous. Like they go to like 4 or 5 episodes.
Yes, but the duel. Okay, yes, that is true. But they break the rules of the game, whereas GX
they do that.
rules.
They do that in all of them. They do that in all of them.
In GX, most of the time, I was playing the game while GX was out. They were
there's a ton of anime only cards that only exist for the main character to win. There obviously is a bunch of cheating because like Yu-Gi-Oh and Duelist Kingdom, the card game didn't exist. They didn't have the rules established.
Yeah,
most of the cheating though really in the anime is either when they didn't have rules established or when cards weren't official, so they could just change the rules for when they official.
Yeah, I get that, but it's like in GX, the cards that they played were more official. Like there were some.
Yeah, that's because they had everything. They had everything established by then. So
I know that. That's the thing. I like GX because the card game was established, and yeah, I feel like the combos and the matches were better put together. Whereas with Yu-Gi-Oh, to me the original series felt like, oh, he draws that one special card and wins the game.
No, that's because Yugi can manipulate fate, because all of the main characters all of the main characters have a power that makes it so they can do stuff like that.
I know that, but see, okay, what I like about GX is also the fact that Jaden's power, like with a couple other people, is that they formed a special bond with their card so they could see the spirit of that card. I thought that was a cool power to have compared to
Jaden could communicate with dual spirit, so his deck would give him what he needed.
Yeah. Which is cool.
He was still cheating, pretty much. But
fine.
Pretty much everybody though in Yu-Gi-Oh was cheating.
Okay, fine. It
was just who could cheat the most.
I just thought that was a more cool power than the whole I'm going to change into the Pharaoh or have these Millennium items.
Well, he didn't change into them. They were 2 different people. He lived a Silver Spirit.
He still forms though.
But Jaden then got the powers of the Supreme King and became a demigod and could fuse dimensions together.
Yeah, okay, that's that. But that was like the later series. Like I said, I think like GX up until like when they go into other dimension, like that's just after the Rainbow Dragon appears, for the first time. That's when I stopped watching it. But like I watched it all the way up to see like when
the last season is so good though. That's when he's
watch it all again.
When he's dark, Jamie. He's all angry and pissed off.
Okay, but that's just the thing is that it's like I enjoy GX a lot and stuff, and
I like my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh hobby is explaining how Yu-Gi would just decimate Goku in a fight if you subtract the card game aspect of the game, and Yu-Gi would just murder him.
But let me just put it this way:
I love that.
Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series and Dragon Ball Z The Abridged series are far better than any of the anime counterparts.
Hell no, I love original Yu-Gi-Oh! I can watch that all
No,
day.
Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged
No,
series is
I
way
can-
better.
I can
That's
watch.
hilarious.
I can watch Kaiba and Yu-Gi duel for days. They're so fun. I love
But-
Yu-Gi-Oh's.
No.
I've rewatched the original so many times.
No, come on. The Abridged series is way better and stuff.
Hell
That
no,
shit is fun.
I-
Have you seen the
I
Abridged
love-
series?
I have. I like
Yes.
they're funny, but I love original Yu-Gi-Oh so much. It's one of my favorite shows.
Oh, come on. You don't like the whole, my deck has no weak cards, except maybe the Karibo.
Karibo is useful as hell. Karibo is like one of the most useful cards in the game.
I know, but that was the joke. It's like,
I know, but anime Karibo was broken beyond belief. Anime Karibo is probably one of the most broken things. You
Okay,
drop that
well-
and multiply, and you will never lose.
yeah, I know. Well, multiply was that was a cheating card in this anime. Like
Well, that's
how the
because
card
that was back when there was no rules established. So it was.
Well, I know. Well, basically, if you play Magic: The Gathering, basically, like the Karibo kind of is like essentially that multiply card is basically like an infinite combo of creating tokens. Like, because Magic has like a thing called tokens, which are little creatures that
Yes,
are
tokens.
generic and stuff. They don't have special abilities normally, so yeah, and they're combos to like make an infinite amount of these tokens.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
So
Though,
it's
like,
basically like an infinite combo. So basically, Yu-Gi-Oh pulled off a one-card infinite combo.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Or
Though has some.
cards
Yu-Gi-Oh! has
combo.
some of my favorite like moments in anime. I love when Yugi beats Kaiba in Battle City, and Kaiba's like, "You can't beat me in my own tournament." It's like it's too late, Kaiba, and he just finishes him. I love that.
Yeah, then there's whole I'm about to lose, but then it's like I sacrifice Obelisk and summons the Blue Ice White Dragon to win the game because
That
I
was so
changed
awesome.
fate.
That was soft. Oh,
I
Kaiba
think a lot of people have probably thought of that as stupid.
Kaiba is awesome. Kaiba is such a good rival. Kaiba. So
wait,
Kaiba's the obsession with the Blue Eyes is because he used to fuck her in a past life.
oh,
Because
wait, seriously?
the Blue Eyes was a chick that could turn into a dragon.
Oh,
It was
okay.
this and he used to bang the shit out of this chick all the time, and that's why he's so obsessed with the Blue Eyes.
I like
He wasn't banging a dragon; he was banging a chick.
Okay, I like how in Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series, how it's like, oh yeah, rare card. That seems making us be a right dragon. And since I'm a child billionaire, starts a huge games corporation. I had nothing better to do to check it out and stuff. It's like,
Kaiba though,
seriously.
Kaiba though, I think is one of the best rivals in fiction. He's up there. He's always challenging the main character. He's not weak. He doesn't get thrown to the side like Vegeta.
Well,
Vegeta is nothing but.
Well, you could say the same thing about Sasuke then. Like Sasuke has always kind of been.
Sasuke though, Sasuke was behind Naruto forever until the final arc when he got a 3 power up.
No.
Even
He beat Naruto at Valley of the End. No, he was above Naruto. He
was so far below him until they got those Sage power ups. Until then, Sasuke.
Wait. No.
Naruto.
No. Okay,
Naruto.
Sasuke was better than Naruto. It was more powerful than Naruto up until they got theirs. Up until like that, the Ninja War arc and stuff. Because
when Naruto got Sage mode, he was above Sasuke. Sasuke could not.
Yeah, I know that. But I'm talking about like before that. Before that, Sasuke was always better.
Sasuke was stronger, but he got the Sage mode at like a third of the way into the series, and then he was.
Yeah, he got the Sage mode in the Pain arc.
Yeah, and then he got the gold chalk cloak, and then he got the friggin'.
But that's all in the second half of the series.
He got the Nine Tails cloak, and then he got the Sage mode merged with Nine Tails until they got the Sage of the Six Paths power up. Naruto,
Okay. Here's my thing: is
Naruto could loiter over Sasuke and flick him into the dirt.
Okay, Sasuke was stronger than Naruto for basically all of Part 1, and basically up until essentially the Pain arc.
Naruto was stronger at the end of Part 1.
No,
don't you remember when they were gonna fight, and then you saw the level of damage that like the Chidori did versus the Rasengan?
Yes, but then he beat him at Valley of the End.
Yeah, but that was only because Naruto was only able to go into one tail.
Yeah, that was his max. He hit his max at the moment because we had never seen him go that far with the tail.
He just specced him a tiny bit more, and it's not like. And it's not like it's not possible that he couldn't have. Like he could have. It would have been.
I think Sasuke beat him and stuff because again, like he had the curse seal, like he mastered the curse seal and was able. Like I said, I just personally think that Sasuke, from what we have been shown, was more powerful than Naruto. It wasn't until basically Naruto got Sage mode,
and then he was
to unlock
and then he was massively above him, and then he got more power ups, and Naruto would have until they got those 6 path power ups. Naruto would have crushed Sasuke, and you never once have to. And
I feel like the interesting is I think when Sasuke got the Mangekyo Sharingan, I feel like with Amaterasu he could have killed Naruto.
I don't think so. Naruto could have made 1,000 clones and thrown tailed beast bombs and murdered him. Naruto was able to clown tailed beast when he showed up with his chakra cloak when he had the
chakra cloak. That's after the pain arc. But like if we're talking about Naruto before the chakra cloak.
Well, at the same time, when Naruto had Sage mode, Sasuke was fighting Deidara, and Naruto was beating Pain of all people.
I think okay.
Pretty sure that was the same area.
No, I think actually, if you look at Deidara, I think Kishimoto basically, I think just gave I think it just has to do with misfortune because I feel like if Deidara had been the one to attack Leaf Village, I feel like he could have wiped the entire Leaf Village off the map because I feel like given his powers. He could have probably killed Naruto, like especially with
his nanomites. So his nanomites and his
he could have killed
suicide
Naruto.
Bomb were his only big things that were the threat. But the thing that made Pain such a huge threat, besides he had the super mega push and pull, was the fact that he had so many powers and there were 6 of them. And they all worked really well together in a combo. Deidara though, honestly, I think Kakashi would have beat him.
Okay, Kakashi, yes, but if he was to fight Naruto, he would have killed Naruto with the nanobots because the nanobombs only way to disarm them was Naruto using lightning.
Naruto would have sensed them because with Sage mode he had super chakra sensing.
Yes, but that still wouldn't be finished because they're at microscope level. So that means he would literally have to avoid them, and probably Deidara would have set him into a trap, basically.
I think he could have. I think with his super sensing, he could have avoided it. But there was.
It would have been an interesting fight, though.
Where you have the power levels kind of stride crazily in Naruto between Naruto and Sasuke. The same way with Goku and Vegeta, kind of shift heavily a lot, and it's almost always in Goku's favor. Is you never once have that with. You never have a point where Yugi could just crush Kaiba in a fight. It never once happens, and it never closely.
But has he ever? But again, has Kaiba ever beaten him in the fight when he did? Like the only thing I remember beating him in the fight was when he basically threatened to jump off the building.
In the new movie, which is canon, Kaiba almost.
In the movie involving the Andrew Sphinxes.
No, that movie's not canon. The new one is Dark Side of Dimensions, which takes 6 months. It takes place 6 months after the end of the original series. But Yugi and Kaiba are dueling, and it gets down to where Kaiba is about to play some turnaround card. You don't know what it was, and it was at the point where Yugi would have won, but then they get interrupted. So he had something, but you don't know whether or not that would have evened the playing field or won. But there's never a time where Kaiba was nothing to Yugi. He won. Yugi always won because he was better, but there was never a time where it was if they fought, it would have been easy for him. There's multiple times where Naruto would have fought Sasuke and crushed him.
But Sasuke did win on his own terms, though. So
he only won because Naruto got limited to what he was capable of. If he got pushed to 2-tail, he would have murdered Sasuke in the Valley of the End.
Yes, but again, he didn't have it. I mean, again, you have to.
But the whole thing about the 9-tails is it just keeps going, and it just kept seeping out further.
Well,
and so the only reason
seep out,
the only reason that
what's because of the seal. I mean,
the only reason that Naruto wasn't able to win is because Sasuke kept getting more things during that battle. He got another mark on his Sharingan. He got curse mark level 2. Yeah. He kept getting more stuff. Naruto got one thing and they got limited. If they met to the same number of power-ups, Sasuke got 2 power-ups, and he got 2 power-ups. Naruto got 1. If you equal that out to where he got the same level, he would have won.
Well, but
later in the series is Naruto. There's so many times where Sasuke is nothing to Naruto.
That's what Naruto's supposed to be out. Naruto was supposed to be the underdog. I think giving Naruto more stuff breaks the appeal of the character. Like a lot of people did not like Shippuden because of what they did with Naruto. Like Sasuke, yeah, he's a prodigy, so he's supposed to be that kid who keeps getting all these power ups.
He's supposed to be good though. But he's supposed to be Naruto's supposed to be good through effort, so he still could have had it. He just got through effort. Did he even use any form of summoning techniques in that fight? I don't think he summoned Gamabunta once.
No, he didn't summon anyone.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't summon the thing that was the biggest thing he had at the time. Because even though the One Tail is powerful, I don't think the One Tail would have been able to beat Gamabunta.
Well, he summoned Gamabunta in the One Tail fight.
Yeah, with which one? He didn't fight. I don't think he did it against Sasuke. Is what I'm saying.
No, he didn't do it against Sasuke.
I think if he summoned Gamabunta against Sasuke, Sasuke would have gotten decimated.
Yeah, maybe it's because he didn't want to kill him. So I guess.
But yeah, so there's never a time in Yu-Gi-Oh where any of the main characters could ever just destroy their rival in a match. It never happens even once, and you get that in. Get that in Dragon Ball. You get that in Naruto.
Well,
it's not that they.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Also, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is kind of a card game that's a little different than like.
But that's the way it's centered. It's more around strategy. But
yeah,
I'm talking about in terms of being a rival. Kaiba always challenges him. Kaiba's never put off as comedic. He's never played off by the writer. You're never going to get Kaiba dancing for somebody like Vegeta did to Whis and being a complete goofball and nothing like he's ever been before. Kaiba would die before in that situation. Before
in Hunter x Hunter, like Gon's closest rival, I think, is Killua, and they're kind of best friends. So that's kind of
yeah. There's just more like a bromance, but Killua always just is so far ahead of him, and it wasn't until Gon got that weird out of nowhere power up against Cat Trap that he ever seemed ahead or even remotely close to Killua.
Okay, see, one thing I like about Hunter x Hunter is I actually like how they do with how Nen is done, because I like how like there's different categories for Nen abilities, like specialization, manipulation, enhancement, transmutation, stuff, and basically how like if you're good at this ability, you can master 100% of this ability that you're affinity with, and then master like 60% of this ability. And so
but then they had Gon pulling this power that had nothing to do with his normal style. I don't know.
Like Gon enhancement. Wait,
he's enhancement, and then he somehow became a special one, and he became an adult, and then just became a weird looking dude in short shorts and beat up.
Wait, like so you say he became a specialist?
Because I've seen someone explain why they thought the Gon power up at the end didn't make sense. I don't know. I'm not as well versed on Hunter x Hunter, so I can't say. I've read it only once through. I don't really care too much about it. But
the one thing they liked about Hunter x Hunter, people say they liked about Hunter x Hunter was that is that in combat, Gon I think loses more often compared to your average shonen character. Like he goes through a lot more harder time.
Yeah, but they lose and then they there's a training arc and then they go back and win and they just do that the whole time and it's very on a loop.
I mean, that is at least somewhat more realistic compared to like winning all the time or something,
I'd rather see characters, are able to work around it mid-fight, but it's just always the same with Hunter x Hunter. I don't really care for Hunter x Hunter to talk about it too much.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like when it comes to ability systems, I feel like Hunter x Hunter, like what they did with the ability system, I think is really cool compared to a lot of other stuff, which is like a lot of anime tends to have ability systems be very, I don't know, vague. To make it so it's very easy to make all these weird abilities like like break the story. But Hunter x Hunter, I feel like at least the system was a little more controlled.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like there are different rules and stuff. Yeah.
I don't think too much about Hunter x Hunter. All right.
That's not good taste then.
I just don't. No, I don't really care about Hunter x Hunter. I don't think about it too much.
You have terrible taste then.
Get that out of here. No, I don't. I don't think Gon is interesting as a character. I think he's boring. I don't care about Killua. I think that the settings are kind of meh. The series drags on. It's never gonna end. They've been on this boat for like 3 years now.
A boat? What?
They've been on this boat going to the Dark Continent for like 3 years.
Damn. Okay.
I don't know. I don't
I mean, to be honest with you, I only read like the first arc, where it's like they're going like the Hunter exams. Like that was a fun arc, but again, I haven't read any of the recent stuff.
Hunter x Hunter I don't care about. Like Gon's power up at the end, I don't think made sense. They had the villain not lose and then kill himself just because it was sad that his friend was dying. I don't care for it. I don't really like the villains either. I don't know. Nothing about Hunter x Hunter really ever piqued my interest. The only thing that ever made me think about Hunter x Hunter is it was made by the guy who did Yu Yu Hakusho. Okay. Yu Yu Hakusho was only really fun up until the Dark Tournament. I didn't care for Chapter Black. Dark Tournament was fun, but it's just a more edgy shonen.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, because like I said, I did like the Phantom Troop in Hunter x Hunter. I thought they were cool because they were kind of different from your average villains in shonen. Like their plans were just there to steal and make money and stuff, whereas most villains in shonen tend to have this really big, grandiose plan, but they're just kind of basically a gang of thieves.
I like the sword guy. I don't remember his name. That was about it.
Okay.
Nothing about Hunter x Hunter just never really sparked my interest. I never liked Gon, and that's obviously like two of the big things.
See, for me, what I like about Hunter x Hunter was this. I liked kind of like with Naruto. I kind of liked the character designs. Like I feel like what's his name was really good at making very interesting character designs. That you could tell that they're like he used basically characters like the characters that were kind of that were important were given specific and unique designs that you could tell could give.
Yeah, but then you had like Kahlua, whose power was not Kahlua, the red-eyed dude whose power is very specific to what he's doing to conveniently make him stronger in specific situations.
Who is this?
The red-eyed dude.
Oh yeah, Kurapika or whatever.
Hard to pronounce name character.
Yeah, he has the red eyes, and he also has he uses a chain.
His power is he's specifically strong enough to fight characters that he wants to get his revenge on conveniently.
Well, yeah, because he basically he put what's the word? He put a restriction on his abilities. Apparently, if you can put restrictions on your abilities as like a conjurer, you can basically make your conjuration more stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the writer as well in general. He's an asshole. That dude is always on hiatus. Play Dragon Quest.
Oh. At least he's not a pedophile like Rudy Kenshin.
That is true.
Yeah, I only saw a couple episodes of Rudy Kenshin. I want to see it sometime, but I hear you just watch it. Don't watch the last arc because it's terrible because they tried to continue after the anime and after the manga ended.
Yeah, apparently. This is what I heard as well.
Yeah. I also want to watch Inuyasha sometime because Inuyasha is pretty good too.
I tried watching or reading Inuyasha. Not for me. Not my thing.
I kind of looked interested because I like mythology. It seemed like it was one of those animes that's very heavily inspired by Japanese folklore.
Yeah.
I personally think I might either get back into Urusei. I forgot what that one was called. Urusei Yatsura, or there was another one. I think it was Ranma 1.
Oh,
Ranma
1.
Yeah, that's like the longest running, or one of the longest running animes of all time.
I think the longest was Kochikame. We went for like 40 years.
I remember Ramna, yeah. I haven't seen Ramna, but I heard it's pretty good.
Yeah, I had a friend recommend that one, and also Urusei Yatsura, which both of them are actually really good. Aside from that, I haven't really seen Inuyasha. I tried getting through the first season, but I never got to finish it. So,
have you ever read Goblin Slayer?
Goblin Slayer?
They're about to have an anime. I would recommend when the anime drops. It's a very interesting series.
I think.
Yeah,
go
ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
You can go ahead.
Also, it's pretty much, if you could imagine kind of like this Dark Souls-esque world, but the main character only wants to kill low-level goblins because the whole thing is that high-level people just kind of gloss over goblins because they think it's just not worth their time, and then you have the dumb low-level people who get in over their heads and get slaughtered because they're stupid and too headstrong. But so that you have like all these goblins kind of like plaguing the lands and just causing annoyances, and the main character one day watches his whole village get slaughtered and like his sister get raped and murdered by these goblins, and he is like autistically obsessed with driving them into extinction. And he just goes, it's all about just him going around and like mercilessly slaughtering them. Like in the first
Wait, what's this called?
Goblin Slayer. Here, I'll send you a link to the teaser. I don't know, the anime's supposed to come out soon. But like in the very first little adventure, the main character meets this girl, and they end up, well, after defeating the leader goblin, he knows that where the nest is, and he goes and finds like all these goblin children, and she's like, should we leave them? They're just children, they haven't done anything. And he talks about how every single small goblin that is left alive will eventually grow up with resentment and hate towards humans, and they'll just become more problems. And he just stomps the shit out of these like children and goblins and kills the hell out of them. He's a bit of a psycho, but he's a really nice guy. I'm gonna send you a.
Well, he's a psycho, but he's a really nice guy.
He's a psycho in his profession, but he's nice to everybody else. Also, I'm gonna post it. I'll send you the link. Hang on.
Okay.
It's just a teaser. I don't think a trailer's out yet, but it's fantastic. None of the characters have names.
Wait,
none of them have names. They're all just referred to as what they are. Like there's the character that's referred to as Elf Archer. There's a dwarf.
So it's basically like a making a joke of D&D then.
A little bit, I guess. The main character though is he's a savage, but he's hilarious. He only cares about killing goblins. He doesn't care about killing anything else in the world.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, so I had this idea. I think I pitched like in a previous live stream. I thought it'd be kind of cool if like DC basically took one of their properties and basically went to like a Japanese creator and asked them to make like an anime, like a short manga, like a mini manga series about like a character. Like say it could be Superman, Green Lantern, The Flash, Teen Titans, or the Legion of Superheroes. And it's like, yeah, they basically allow like an anime creator to like make a mini series, and they could turn it into like an OVA.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be awesome. Like Akira Toriyama could get Green Lantern, so you could like make a Green Lantern series since he's really cool at making all these kooky aliens. And like, basically, you could have like DBZ-esque Green Lantern series where it's like they're like ring power attacks are kind of like given the Dragon Ball Z sound effect. It'd be kind of cool.
That'd be interesting.
Oh yeah, because the rings can fire out energy beams.
Yeah.
So I thought that'd be kind of cool. And then like you could give like accurate like Kishimoto, like I don't know, Teen Titans, or like one of the like lesser known DC characters.
Yeah. I think it'd hold merit. I don't think a lot of them care as much as the problem. I think a lot of those guys are just like don't want to do anything anymore.
Oh, what?
A lot of them don't want to do anything anymore. Like Akira Toriyama doesn't do shit. He mostly just goes in for board meetings and tells people what to do and then leaves. And like,
but
I already told you
still want to do manga.
You'd have to get smaller people. Like I already told you, Kishimoto doesn't want to do shit anymore. He's so frustrated.
Oh, he's done. He hasn't read, so he's not doing any more manga.
I think he's gonna do a short series soon. That's about it. I don't think he plans on doing big series anymore.
That's too bad.
He's pretty salty about Mario not getting serialized.
Well, I guess the Japanese market is still rather different from the American market. So, like in the American market, it seems like creators can do lots of different projects and still, have success with the different ones.
The first French anime comes out later this year. Comes out in October.
The first what?
There's the first ever officially licensed French manga is getting an anime. Called Radiant.
Yeah, I hate to be that guy, but it's not anime if it's from France.
It's well, no, because anime and manga is a style. It's not doesn't have
Yeah,
to
I'm
come
one of
from
those people.
France,
I'm one
but
of those people that basically just calls it
it
if it's
is
from Japan,
it
if
is
it's from
it is officially licensed as manga by the Japanese.
yeah, okay, fine. But like I said, I'm one of those people that says if it's not from Japan, it's not anime or manga. Like manga is
I
just a Japanese comic
I
book,
I
and
don't
anime is just a Japanese cartoon.
I don't agree. You could watch the old Teen Titans TV show, and if you didn't know that it came from Americans and you just watched it, you would think that it was an anime. Like it plays very
I
anime. Same
actually
thing.
didn't think it was the anime.
Same
Actually,
thing with something like Last Airbender or Ruby. They feel very anime, and most
they
people
feel
treat them as
anime-esque,
anime.
but they don't call it anime. Like again, like under definitions, they don't call it anime. It's just called an American anime TV show.
I usually just go with the style. If it feels enough like it, then whatever.
Yeah, I don't like
With
using the
me.
term style. I just feel like there's a lot of people who try to imitate it. I just feel like by saying like, oh, if it's Japanese, it's anime or manga. I feel like it's better that way because I know like a lot of people have gotten kind of frustrated with the whole
Well,
everything is
it,
designed to look like anime
it looks
instead of
exactly
making it look.
it looks and reads exactly like manga too with Radiant. I sent you a link
Yeah.
to the trailer.
Okay, but I'm just saying, yeah, because like
Right.
I was one of those people where I was kind of getting annoyed at how they're kind of abandoning people. A lot of people are going to imitating the anime style rather
But
than like doing Jack Kirby.
they're doing it poorly. That's the problem. The problem
They're
isn't
doing it poorly, but
the
even if it's
problem isn't they're trying to do very anime stuff. The problem is they're doing it poorly and they're terrible.
see, the thing is, but I don't want my books to all look like anime. I want them to look like, oh, the Jack Kirby style, or like the semi-realistic style that I used to see all the time. Like having all the characters look like anime would just kind of ruin it for me.
I'm
Because
fine as long as
I
the
like
stories are
variety.
good. As long
What?
as long as the stories and characters are good. Personally, I'm fine. But
Yeah, I don't. Again, art is still. I find art is still important. That having it all look the same would
yeah.
eventually just lose its. It just wouldn't be fun anymore.
I was what was the name of that French manga?
Radiant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can send you a link. I'll post it. And
Oh.
are you in the Yellow Flash Discord?
Oh yeah, I'm on his Discord. Yeah.
I'll post it in general.
Okay.
I can post a Goblin Slayer as well. Yeah, I'm gonna get off in a second. I gotta go get food and then do some stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I'll come back if you ever need me to. If you want someone to jump in, I'm usually just hanging out when I'm not at work.
Yeah, I try to do this every Saturday. Although I will be moving soon, so I'm not sure how.
How long have
my
you
schedule's
How
gonna
long
be
have you
like.
had your channel? How long have you been doing
Since
your
like
channel?
2017.
Okay, I'm getting there.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
I saw I Love Comics was in your chat at one point.
Oh yeah, I saw. That's pretty cool.
I think it's just kind of showed up.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Maybe he left because he knows the Yellow Flash issue. It's like, oh shit.
Wait. I don't think does he know about the Yellow Flash issue? Because I talked to him on live stream like a few weeks ago, and he didn't really think know much about Yellow Flash. He just
this was like last week that Yellow Flash like went off about it.
What happened?
You're gonna have to ask somebody that was there because I gotta go. Maybe next time, or ask the chat. Just ask the Discord chat, and we'll tell you.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna get out of here.
Okay.
See you later. People check out my channel and whatnot. Rex the Hero, manga, comics, yada yada.
Yeah. Try and find his channel, people.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Yeah. See ya. Yes. So basically, we were talking about comic books and anime earlier, Florence.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that I might end up seeing that series that I was talking about, Radiant, because I've been meaning to look into some French stuff, and some French stuff that's actually pretty good, like Miraculous Ladybug, and what was it? There was another one, but I kind of forgot about it. But I also kind of want to get into Valerian because of the movie. Like, the comic looks kind of interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool and stuff. But yeah. But like, so how's your week been?
It's been good. Oh yeah, I was actually gonna read your I was actually gonna read your story today because I've been trying to take a break from some of the stuff I've been doing. So tonight I'll definitely have your story kind of up here and just kind of read it since I kind of want to, you know, read some more stuff.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how about you? How have you been doing?
It's just been good. Just like having to like get rid of like gonna be moving to Portland, so I'm not sure what my schedule's gonna be like once I'm down there.
You ever been to Portland before?
Yeah, I've been there before. It's
Oh,
like with dark horses.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what was it? What was it like down there last time you went?
Oh, that's fine. I mean, it's kind of another really progressive city, so like it's kind of annoying, but I guess oh well. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, you see that whole like whole Mags drama thing blew up again.
I don't normally.
She like
I
said
don't
something
normally
about
try.
she said like no, not a single bit of estrogen put inside me or something like that. So it's like almost like she gave away that like yeah she is in fact just like doing be like a transgender.
Wasn't it that tweet that
It's
she
like a
made where
tweet.
she was? Wasn't it kind of like estrogen not even once or?
Yeah, estrogen not even one. So it's like that's basically pure that kind of made people think that she actually genuinely is not genuinely trans. She just like it's like a transgender.
Uh, yeah. Personally, I thought it was just kind of a dumb meme that she did. That, uh, I that I don't know. I thought it was just kind of dumb personally, but whatever. That's kind
Yeah.
of what I'm. Yeah, that's usually how I am when it comes to this kind of news.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Well, I
Yeah.
should probably cut it off here since it's been a little. It's going on for like over 3 hours.
Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry, I wasn't really here. I
Oh, it's
actually.
fine. I
Yeah.
got two other guys to come in and stuff to talk for a bit.
Oh. Oh, cool.
Yeah, the thing. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for being on. And anyway, people, if you like what you saw here, then you can hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and also subscribe to Florence's channel. And you can definitely find both of us on Twitter. I think you changed your Twitter name, Florence, right?
Oh yeah. I just wanted to change it to Small Kitty for a
Small
little
Kitty, yeah.
bit.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yep.
I
So,
think I'm just. Oh, sorry. I
oh,
was actually just gonna. I'm just gonna kind of leave it there for just a little bit, and then I'll change it back.
yeah, that's fine. But anyway, yeah. So you can find us both on Twitter. So anyway, this is your King Billy signing out.